Well, happy Friday indeed. It's Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here on Big Bad Ben's Big Bad birthday celebration. A couple days early, our beloved Ben Higgins is turning 49 years old, tomorrow? Sunday.
It's Sunday.
Sunday. I'll get it one of these years.
You're already well ahead of the pace.
Yeah, that's true.
From last year.
48 hours ahead, as it were. Welcome in. It's great to be
50
here.
50 and a half hours ahead.
Yeah. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
And the man of the 4 hours, at least today, Benjamin R. Higgins. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I want you to open my present now.
Really?
Right after the
Right
shoot.
to start?
Yeah, because it's...
This is important.
Something I can
it's something,
wear during the show.
yeah.
There's Halloween candy on top.
Yeah, I put some of your faves in there.
Thank you. So Reese's. Oh, nice.
It's a Butterfinger.
Yeah,
I know you like the
yeah,
Butterfinger.
Rip it open.
Oh, I got new headphones.
Yes.
Nice. These will be going on in the next segment.
Just to set the stage for
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank
Just
you.
to set the stage for every single person listening. Every day, Ben, professional broadcaster for
25 plus years.
25 plus years. Every morning, Benjamin Higgins comes in here and he shuffles around for a while, and then he goes over to Paulie.
Yep. Comes over
And then
here.
he
He's
goes-
looking
he's-
on the shelves.
He's back here looking like this. He's like, anybody see those headphones? Which
We have,
I
like-
think they're both. I think I bought
I use
both
the
of them.
community
They're not,
station
though.
headphones.
I think
I've always used the
think they're-
station headphones.
I think they're both mine at some point.
We have like one pair though that just kind of sit in the studio
Yeah.
and they just get passed around.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like in baseball. I just grab whatever, bat out of
No,
the rack.
nobody
I didn't have
does
my
that.
own bat.
No,
I just look for
no.
one. It looks like, oh, this one looks right.
I can't find my glove. Let me just grab yours.
Literally,
This one about the right size. Fine. It works. It
literally,
works.
literally in baseball. If you just walked up in the dugout, if you decided to start playing adult league, and you just walked up into the dugout and were like, let's grab this one here. Oh, yeah, looks good. And you snapped it. I mean, you'd be throttled. So they would absolutely murder you. So,
I wouldn't take someone else's bat. There should be just like a community
bat.
bat section.
yeah, well, I mean, most guys buy their own bats or set up other situations. But
Benny, you are a radio professional,
Like-
top-rated, successful show.
Yeah.
You should have your own. Like, I take mine
It feels
with me
like a
every
big,
morning.
It feels like a big moment. Like I'm advancing to okay, this is no longer a hobby.
Like a promotion.
Now this is now maybe a career.
It's
a
the real
choice that
deal.
I've made.
Just take care of your hobbies.
What a good
Not
point.
your hobbies,
What
your
a good
profession.
what a good point here by Dominic in the chat. It says Ben won't eat work potluck food, but will use the funky community headphones. It's so true. Has no problem doing it. None whatsoever.
It's fair.
Everybody else's earwax in there.
Oh yeah. I
and-
mean, you scratch your butt, grab these, put them on. I saw somebody like fondling them on their, privates. I mean, you never know what's going on. You never know what somebody could have worn those into the crapper before. You just have no idea.
I don't know why you do that, but
I don't either. I don't know why you would, but you could. And so you've got your own now. Now I want to see how you. It's like my dad always used to. I got you your own blank. I want to see how you take care of it. So hey, thanks for the gift and also the assignment of now I know you're going to be Hawkeyeing me everywhere I go with my new whatever. And I do it to my kids
do
too.
I need to oil it or something? What's They're headphones. What am I supposed to do to take care of it? It's not like a mix. Like, hey, you gotta break them in. You gotta oil them.
That's one of your best lines I think I've ever had in my life. I need to oil it after the show. Paulie, he's in there lightly polishing his headphones every day. That got me, bro.
Just put them in their case after you're done.
Yeah.
Put the case in your backpack.
You got a backpack
I've
here.
got a backpack.
Free
It's gonna go
backpack
right
from Odyssey.
Your free backpack from Odyssey.
Mine.
I already broke mine, so thank you.
When that one breaks, I got mine. You can have that one as well.
I am absolutely dead. It reminds me of those. You guys, I promise you, somewhere in the either in a prominent position in your bathroom, or in a utility closet somewhere, you guys have a pair of plug-in wall clippers, WAHL, that maybe you tried to use on your pets, maybe you tried to use on your kids. My dad, for a hot minute when we were little, was like, I'm going to be cutting your hair. I'm
We did like
oh,
2 haircuts for the kids back in the day and then realized, no, this is not going to work.
My dad was like, well, you're shaving your head mostly anyway. I can just do it. Yeah, then we saved the $13 or whatever it was when we were in 7th grade. But they give you that little thing of oil, that little tiny thing of oil that ends up floating around in your drawer for the next 30 years. And you never like, I don't know where to put it. Where do I, like, what am I supposed to
part
be
do I
oiling?
oil?
It's, when you said that, it reminded me of watching my dad fumble around like trying to oil these clippers. I'm assuming it's like on the actual clippers
Blade
part.
or
I have no
yes, I don't
idea.
know. Or the
Oh
gear,
my
is it
God.
for the machinery inside?
Yeah, I
don't
have no
even
idea.
know.
I have no idea.
Just to be clear, do not oil those headphones.
Yeah, don't oil them.
Don't put them in the oven.
Don't put them in the oven like a glove, like Hannah did, my wife. Oh my God, pine tar them up so they
Yeah.
don't fall off.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Tatis and his helmet.
Yeah. So I wanted to get you something functional.
That is great. I love a functional gift.
He does,
This
and
is good.
the thing is
Thank you.
about him is like, yeah, he knows he needs them, but he's not going to buy them because in his mind he's like, I'm not spending that for someone. I can just find some here,
Or he'll do the $20 or $30 headphones.
and he'll have to do it 3 times.
that are gonna break. You know,
Yeah.
3 pairs of headphones a year.
These are the good ones. I love these, man. I actually, Hannah bought me some different ones, and I love you, babe, so much. It was so thoughtful, but they're terrible. And I've just gone back to the old Sonys, man. These things just don't miss.
Thank you for going with the traditional, just normal black,
Yeah.
not some weird,
some weird.
strange color or
Yeah, some
anything.
weird
So
color.
thank you. You know me.
My wife just said, what? And I told you that they're terrible. So now those headphones, though, that my wife gave me, we finally have a decent pair of guest headphones. Because oftentimes we have guests in here, and
They don't know any better.
don't
They
know
look
any better.
cool. It's perfect for them.
Do we have those old headphones?
Oh, they're right there.
Oh, the nasty ones. You can
there's-
show what they
some
start looking like
nasties.
eventually when they fall apart.
The leather
in the
falls.
studio.
Maybe
yeah.
we should be oiling the leather on here, or the pleather, as it were, because they turn into foam.
If you're
Yeah.
watching on YouTube right now, these are the headphones that we used to have to give
Yes,
guests.
they're janky, man. You look like you pulled them out of a garbage can.
Yeah, they do look pretty nasty. I even wouldn't use those as community headphones.
It's bad.
Hannah's in the chat saying, I did a month of research on that, and I spent a grip. And then Jeter says, is Hannah bad at gifting? No, she's phenomenal. It's like her one miss in a decade. But well, I knew you'd like those. You know how I knew you'd like them? Because you've been using mine
Right.
and everybody else's for years, and I'm glad you have your own. So again, I want to see how you
I'm happy already.
I want to see how you take care of them.
They'll be here every day.
And Paulie and I have so much more for you today. How does it feel to be? You're not okay. Power of radio. We know your birthday's. You're not quite 49, but how does it feel to be knocking on the door?
It's I like to say the least consequential birthday of your life, right? It's the one right before the most consequential birthday of your life. I mean, other than like 21 or 16 perhaps, but it's been a long time since you felt one coming like 50. 30 and 40 are kind of big, but for me, I didn't really notice them that much. 50 obviously though that's something.
Monumental.
Which makes 49 really nothing. It's just the prelude to
It's like
50.
the opposite, like turning 21. Awesome. Turning 22. Nobody cares.
Nobody cared. Yeah. This is it's been a great year, man. For me, I've been 49 since July. Maybe the best year of my life. It takes a lot of work to have a good year. It doesn't just always come easy, but 49's a good one. Our 50th year of life, as it were, Benny. But wanted to wish you a happy birthday. 833-288-0973 if you'd like to call and wish Ben a happy birthday as well.
Rafa says I need to write my name on the headphones. Like put a piece of masking tape
no
and then
one help.
write Ben on them to make sure that I don't lose them. I don't think you do that with headphones. I've never seen anyone
No.
with their name on their headphones.
It's hard, too, because they're cumbersome. So taking them every day is kind of cumbersome. They're thick and bulky, but well, I'm glad you like them. Yeah, you can open them and wear them and try out the new ones for the show.
Before we go on, I do want to share something. The one thing that I really need for my birthday that I cannot get is forgiveness for something that happened yesterday on the way home. I was asked to pick up some extra candy for trick-or-treaters.
Sure. We ran out. Yep.
So I went to the Costco, which is right here in Kearney Mesa on the way home. It's the business Costco. And I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to be the cool guy, get the full size. So I got full size Reese's,
Wow!
and I got gummy bears. So you can have your choice. You go fruity or chocolatey. Spend a nice pretty penny on plenty of candy for the neighborhood kids because we've got a pretty busy neighborhood when it comes to candy. So I got enough for everybody. And then I was there, so I did a little other shopping to grab some stuff that we needed, including cranberry juice. You know, I like cranberry juice. My son likes cranberry juice. He said, hey, can you pick up, I got the big 2-pack of Costco cranberry juice. So I go in the aisle that has the juices. And while I'm in that aisle, I'm pulling up to the juices. And someone, and I did not notice that, but someone, you know how you sometimes you grab something and you decide you don't want it, but you don't want to go all the way back to where it was.
No, I don't know that because I'm not a monster.
And they had put it back precariously near the cranberry juices. And I guess I didn't see it because when I grabbed the cranberry juice, it knocked this other item off. What it was a 2-pack of 64-ounce mango nectar, which both of them exploded onto the floor at Costco. If you have... I don't know that you can even imagine what 128 ounces of mango nectar all over the aisle at Costco could possibly look like. It was like the 10 Commandments when they like part the seas, but sticky, thick mango nectar. And there's nothing I can do about it at this point other than
it's down.
Alert an employee and go,
hey, sorry.
Someone did this. I found it, but it wasn't me.
You said that? No, you didn't.
Oh, my God.
All right, if you work at that Costco, I'm going to need you to pull the tape of the actual offender. The actual offender. Now,
so bad.
To your credit, so just thick mango nectar, flowing,
just the whole aisle,
flowing
just
through
everywhere.
You're unbelievable.
They're gonna need like a putty knife to like scrape it all up, like a regular mop
The
won't do.
worst possible thing.
Well, here's a question.
Spill.
Here's a question for a grown adult. Why didn't you just say, "Hey, sorry about this"? They're gonna arrest you.
I know, but I just didn't want to own it at that moment. I mean, again, it was in the wrong place. It wasn't even in the mango nectar spot.
That doesn't
it
matter,
was
though.
sitting
You did it.
precariously on top of the cranberry juice, and I was the one who knocked it over.
So you knocked it over, and then you didn't cop to it.
No, I did alert someone.
You did alert someone.
I just found this in the aisle. It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
You didn't find a murder, man. You just
looked
knocked
like a
it.
murder scene, a big yellow murder scene.
Did Ben tell anyone to roll away? No, he did tell someone.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't matter who did it, as long as you alerted. You didn't run from the problem.
I didn't run from it.
I often sit in the parking lot. You know what we do when we like get in the car? We always like look at our phones. Everyone looks at their phones for like a good 3 to 4 minutes before they actually leave to go anywhere. I will sit in the parking lot of Vaughn's in Encinitas, and I will watch. I will watch the human condition at work, and I will watch a grown-ass man or a grown-ass old lady wheel her cart out, unload her groceries. I will watch her look to one side, look to the other side, and then leave her cart right in the middle of the parking spot. I then sometimes will get out, walk over, grab said cart, and put it away. We are a society. We are a society. We need each other to function. Do your part. You did your part. You didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you just lied.
I mean, my part really.
Embarrassed.
I should be like grabbing the mop and like doing it myself, but I don't think that's
not actually.
That's not going to happen. They're not going to want you to do that.
They don't want you doing that.
I get that
because you could get hurt.
So I've seen on the internet, and I think this makes a lot of sense to me, that the putting back of the shopping cart is the true. It's a measure of whether you're a good person. Because
it's absolutely true.
It's unquestionably the right thing to do. Everybody agrees that it is. There's no cost to it, but there's also no punishment if you don't.
Correct.
So it really, truly just comes down to whether you're willing to function in a society.
Yeah. Are you a part of this?
Are you a part of it or not?
Are you a part of this or are you
not?
No
one's going to track you down if you don't. They're not going to ban you from the store. You can do it every single time and just leave it there. It's simply a function of whether you're, a good member of society or not that you return your
Yeah, I
shopping
mean,
cart
do
to at
you-
least the corral.
Here it is. Do you give an ass about other people? If you do, then you will put it back. If you don't, then you won't. We get it. Somebody said Kimberly Hunt should do like a spot, like okay, we've caught our own Ben Higgins on camera spilling this nectar all over the floor. It took a lot of balls for you to admit that. I will tell you that this morning. Because as many people listen,
I know.
we can have that tape by the end of the show. Watching him like, oh, like panic.
I'll pay whatever,
I'll pay
you,
whatever
want.
you want. If you
Whatever
have
the
it.
ransom is for that video, that security footage from Costco.
Bro, at least you
got you.
At least you told somebody. It's so funny that he's 49 years old. He won't admit, hey, I dropped this. It's a lot. This is 64 ounces, my jug of water. So two of these flowing hot
Well, I will
lava
say
nectar.
the fact that I didn't have like another mango nectar in my cart, like, oh, well, you clearly were buying that. I wasn't buying it.
You weren't buying it.
It wasn't even in the right spot. It was just there. It was like, I think I can at least sneak off without copping completely to this one on my own.
All right, Chris says he's got connections at Costco. We have Costco. We have connection at Costco. Our buddy Jordan, our third baseman.
Oh, yeah.
Jordy works at Costco. He works at the one up north, though, but Jordan makes
Make
some
some
calls.
calls. Yep.
See if you guys can pull the tape. Probably about anywhere between 10 and 11 yesterday.
Yeah, it'll probably be about 10:50 yesterday morning, 10:45, 10:50 yesterday morning.
Okay. And that's the one in Kearney Mesa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Costco Business Center on Convoy.
If we find that, it will be the highlight of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Benny. We've got more surprises in store for you today.
We do need to let him know about one of our surprises early on. So on our rundown, Ben, typically we just wait until the segment before you figure things out and figure out what we're doing.
Right.
7:35, it just says Ben's
I see
special
that.
segment.
Yes, Ben's special segment.
Do we want to let him know what that is
Yeah,
now?
do that.
Okay, Benny. It's a little bit of a homework task, but we're letting you know a little over an hour in advance, 7:35. You can do whatever
Anything.
you want. You
Your
can
fun
talk about golf. You can talk
Nice.
about your calves. You could book a guest.
Ooh.
Whatever you want to do at 7:35. That's our long prime time segment. It's all yours, buddy.
All right. I'm going to be thinking for the next few minutes.
Didn't want to put you on the spot, obviously. We couldn't
right.
do it right before the commercial
Well, I
break
sort of
there.
feel like, yeah, I can. This is a good day for me to just have a good time, right?
Today's your fun day.
All right,
It's
you
your
set the
birthday.
menu then when we come
Oh,
back.
my God. I set the menu. All right. Coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Going to be checking in for
No,
what?
when we come back, you're teasing that.
What am I
It's
doing?
coming
Do
up
that
next.
in our
Next. All right. I got it.
Coming
I
up
got it.
next, Wood sets the menu for my birthday.
There we go.
My birthday special day. And if you want to call in, you can. 833-288-0973. Kelly's got some traffic. Oh, man, I hope it is better than yesterday.
No kidding, man.
2 hours and 15 minutes to get to Channel 10
We'll talk about that for sure.
yesterday. If you were stuck in it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you were living near the fire, I'm sure it's even worse for you. Hopefully you're back in your home right now, but we can talk about that coming up as well. We'll be right back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow night, Petco Park, Dia de los Deftones, going to be going down. I think they've released some more tickets. Go get those today if you want to go see a really, really good festival curated by Deftones tomorrow. Going to be there with the little guy. Can't wait. Look forward to it every year. They do a beautiful job. My son, Bo, is 6, and he's actually today working on, they have the Ofrenda there, and he's going to make an Ofrenda of all this pets that we lost, and he's going to put Peter in it and the whole thing. It was really, really sweet. So we're going to go put it in the actual Ofrenda. He wants to get his face painted, Dia de los Muertos style, and I have no idea how to do it. So hopefully they have some face painters there. Do you know how to
Good
do
point.
it?
No, I have no idea how to
It's very cool and very involved.
paint faces.
Nor do I. And I just don't feel like he's going to be patient enough to sit it out.
It's very sweet of Bo to, obviously he loved his pets and to remember Peter.
He does all the time.
I don't know that I don't want to be combined with pets. If you ever do of mine,
Well, today we're going to do a birthday for you and anybody else famous, Paulie, that is up that we can do today. You want just your face.
I want my own, yeah.
Well, if it were me that passed away, he probably would. But Peter is part of all of the, we lost his fish this year. It was the one that messed him up maybe the most. So we'll do a little Ofrenda picture and take it with us to the show. And really excited. But again, there's they have released some tickets. So I think you could probably go to Padres.com. No, not Padres.com. Just Google Dia de los Deftones. It's 2024.
Might be Padres.com
Usually
/ concerts.
Usually somewhere
concerts.
the subsection of the Padres.com website for
Yeah.
events at Petco Park. So how did Halloween go at the Woods house? And do we have any update on Halloween practical joke?
She's in the process right now, so it's touch and go.
All
It's
right.
dicey. Last night was spectacular. I hope everyone out there had a really nice Halloween. I did not expect to get emotional on Halloween, but I did. I did, and maybe you can relate to this, and maybe parents can relate. Go out, the neighborhood goes crazy. It's like Mardi Gras in our neighborhood. Really, truly. I mean, there's like bumping music. It's smoke machines everywhere. One guy has a cotton candy stand, so he'll actually sit there and all the kids eat it. They're cracked out of their minds. It's hysterical. But Bo and two of his little buddies, Jackson and Cal, we're standing out in the street, and he looks at me and he goes, "Dad, can I go trick-or-treating with them?" And I go, "Alone?" And he's like, can we go like by ourselves? And I go, "Uh-huh." And it hit me. And I watched them walk down the street like arm in arm. It was over. I'm wiping tears from my face. I'm like, it's good. It's good. It's just him wanting a little bit more independence. And then like,
You fast forward, like, pictured sending him off to college already. Like, this is it.
I was a wreck, bro.
This is the start.
I was a straight up mess. And I'm watching them kind of walk down the street, arms around each other, buddies, playing, having fun. And like, he's looking over his shoulder to make sure I'm there, but also that I'm not too close. And so last night was a night that it hit me. I go, this little dude has his own friends and he's got his own life. And yeah, he obviously needs me to like pay for stuff and, read him stories and be his dad. But he also is like yearning for a little bit of independence. And it was just one of those cool dad moments. So it was really special. Then they come home. So I walked Cal home because he had a curfew, 7, which was my curfew as well. I said, I'm happy to walk Cal home. So I walked Cal home. I went on, continued to our house. They showed up I went and watched some of the football game. About 30, 45 minutes later, they come walking in the door. They were great. Then I hear from Taylor's room. He's sobbing. "What's up, buddy?" "I want Halloween to last forever." And I go, "Oh, man, I'm so sorry." He goes, "I want to do it every night." And I go, "Yeah, listen, it's going to lose some of its luster.
Take him trick-or-treating in March.
See
and
how it
see
goes.
what happens.
See how it goes." Just running up to people's houses, like, "We're having dinner. Can I help you?" And he's like, "Trick or treat." He actually told one lady, "Trick or treat, smell my feet." And it was hysterical. So he was weeping. I like soothe him last night to be like, "Buddy, your birthday's next week. We got a bunch of stuff." And he's like, that made him feel a little bit better. But he goes, I want to do it forever. I want to do it every night. He was so upset that it was over. So I'm sure he's going to be asking about his candy pretty soon. So it was great, man. It was a really special night, and they crushed it. It was fun. They were really, really good. So piece of cake. We ran out of candy at our house. We have a camera. We ran out of candy in about 4 minutes. So I had to go back and refill it, but it was low key.
Did you partake in any of the candy last night?
Bo was snagging me some Almond Joys because I'm one of 12 people on the planet that actually like Almond Joys. So he was grabbing me. I had a few of those, but didn't overindulge.
No, I just had a Twix at work.
Yeah,
They had,
delicious.
the work communal candy and the big bucket in the newsroom.
Now
and I
that
go,
you will eat.
all right,
because
there's
it's
a
wrapped.
Twix. It's wrapped. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different, obviously. Paul, any Halloween experiences for you guys? You weren't going to give out candy.
We did the
bowl,
bucket,
yes.
the
Yeah.
bowl out on the other side of the gate, and
Low key.
pretty low key night after that. I stole like 3 of the single Kit Kat bars
Nice.
out of the bag,
Nice.
and
How
a
are you
Reese's.
finding the quality of the Kit Kat?
Love a Kit Kat.
Right, I do too. I did. Are you finding the quality of the Kit Kat is different than it used to be?
I can't remember the last time I had a Kit Kat before last night, and the 3 or 4 that I had were totally fine.
Okay,
tastes like a
because
Kit
we
Kat.
got one early, and Bo said, "You want to split this with?" There's the two bars,
Yeah.
and I said, "Yeah, I'll split it with you." And it was like gray, and I bit into it. I go. I said, "I think this is from Halloween 1986."
Might have been a bad one.
I think I got a bad one. I feel like the last few that I've tasted haven't tasted the same as when we were kids. They've taken some of the bad stuff that actually made it taste better out of a lot of candies. So candies are tasting different now.
That is sometimes the problem.
Yeah.
That we
The preservatives?
We remember the taste of things that were filled with stuff that probably we wouldn't want to be having in our body. But because that's the nostalgic taste that we remember,
Yeah.
when you take it away,
Doesn't taste good.
it doesn't seem like it's right anymore.
Yeah, it's exactly
when it's
right.
actually probably better.
Probably, well, I mean, you're not going to mistake it for anything healthy for sure. But
That's
there's a
true.
different taste. There's a different almost texture to it. than there used to be. So I just wanted to know if you had also noticed that, Paulie.
Had not.
Today on the program, it is we're going to be celebrating Ben the entire show today. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. And, of course, the hot stove is already bubbling in Major League Baseball. Had a move yesterday we want to talk about. Keith Law has his new predictions for the free agents and where they're going to go. And we're going to wrap up the season with our pals from Cespedes Family Barbecue. We're going to be talking to Jordan Shusterman at 8 o'clock. And other than that, man, we're going to have a Reindl Report. We got some fun Ben highlights. We have
We got some gifts.
we have don't look over there. We have so many gifts.
You can look.
I saw them when I came in. There's gifts
You can't
behind
see
me.
anything.
I mean, like
More than I would expect, since there's only 2 of you
Yeah.
and 1 of me.
a trough of gifts.
And there's a lot of gifts back here.
Probably between 30 and 40 gifts.
Yeah, still left to open today. It's going to be a good one.
See, now, if you just said you and Paul had gotten me these headphones together, I would be perfectly happy.
You're
Would
gonna
not need anything
you're gonna
else at
be
all.
You're going to be elated.
Perfectly happy.
Yeah. We'll go through some of our favorite moments with Benjamin, of course, on his birthday. And then Ben at 7:30 is going to have Ben's fun special segment.
It's kind of weird being on the other end of this. Woods and I, have no idea what this is going to be.
I have no idea.
Honestly, neither do I at this point.
Yeah,
so
that's
I've
good.
got an hour to figure it out. All right, stick around with us. It is Ben and Woods. We will talk some hot stove. The GM not waiting at all to make some moves. We'll get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Congratulations to Leo Dallas de Vries, who yesterday became the youngest player to hit a home run in the Arizona Fall League since Bryce Harper in 2010.
Good company.
Yeah, he and Ethan Salas, I believe, are the two youngest players right now competing in the Arizona Fall League, and Salas has been doing great, even after a season, Woods, in which offensively he didn't actually kill it. Everyone said his defensive skills, his catching, next level for a kid at just 18 years old, now 19, I think. But offensively, he definitely had his struggles this year, mostly at high A. But in the Arizona Fall League, he's been on point, and that's a higher level of competition generally than you find in the minor leagues. It's top prospects, it's guys who are a little bit older, closer to the big leagues, and he's done fantastic. And then last night, yesterday, De Vries went deep for the first time, and he has continued to show the promise that is why I think inside the Padres organization, probably internally, their top prospect is De Vries, maybe a little further away from the big leagues than Salas because he's so young. But two guys that remain very intriguing and a reason for optimism in the future for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I talked to somebody that covers a lot of the Arizona Fall League, and I'm not trying to throw cold water on anything. They did say it's obviously a really great league, and it's good for development. Certainly, he said that as far as the pitching goes, they will have their pitchers actually try, like, hey,
that's a good point.
We're gonna work on your changeup here,
Right.
and it may not be their, it's they're working on their secondaries. Again, not to throw cold water on
Sometimes,
it.
like you'll see in spring training.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm
exactly.
only throwing fastballs today,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's
So
not going to be great for results, but it's what I need to work on.
and
I remember like when Alek Manoah, remember when he had like a meltdown or something happened and everybody thought the Blue Jays were mad at him and they sent him to
the rookie league?
complex
Yeah.
league, the rookie league or whatever. And everyone's like, wow, they really hate him. That's a demotion. They're like, no, actually, like, we specifically want him to work on this one mechanical thing, and that's where you do it.
Yeah, and I remember he got torched for like 7 runs,
Yes.
and everyone's like, "Oh, he's toast!" And then he's like, "Bro, I was literally just throwing fastballs in this new 2-seamer that they want me to work on." He actually, the guy I was talking to said, "Yeah, man, like Jacob Marcy." He had like an OPS of like 1,500 in the Arizona Fall League, and he got to A or Double A last year and just was terrible. But listen, baseball's a really hard sport to move up through the ranks, and you got to build confidence somewhere. It doesn't really matter. I still got to put the bat on the ball. I got to hit it out of the yard. I got to make the plays. I'm really high on De Vries, and so is every person I've talked to within the organization. Benny, he's young. I think for him, it's going to be one of those situations of like maturity, right? I mean, he's 18, 19 years old or whatever. And so,
not that there's been any
no.
reason to like question. This isn't a Matt Bush situation where this kid needs to mature and grow up. It's simply a lack of life experience. Like when he came to the Padres the first time after he signed, it was the first time he'd ever even gotten on an airplane in his life. So obviously there's some real world and life experience that kind of goes along with not just becoming a big leaguer, the baseball experience that you need, but just like the rest of us, you can't grow up until you actually, age a little bit, and that's part of it. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. So quick update from the Arizona Fall League. Now, the World Series isn't even cold yet, and GMs were already starting to make moves yesterday.
Honest answer. How jealous were you? Because I was insanely jealous.
You wanted to move me. You wanted something.
Bro, are you kidding?
AJ asleep at the wheel already.
I'm like, what are we doing? Hello? Anybody home? Anytime there's movement and we're not involved in it, especially in the off season, I'm like, all right, what are we doing?
The Ben and Woods show of Anaheim has a lot to talk about this morning.
They're super excited.
Not a blockbuster, but a significant move
Yeah.
that kicked things off yesterday. We'll get to some of the early hot stove news right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
People are losing their tires on the roads this morning, guys. Southbound side of the 5 right before the 15. Stalled car in the center divide lost one of its front tires, and tire reported bouncing around in lanes on northbound side of the 125 right before the 8. Also traveling on the southbound 805 before Governor, reports of a stalled semi in the slow lane. Further south in the 805, got an accident past Plaza Boulevard. That's over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, I was driving home after Costco yesterday, and I heard the breaking news on the Annie and Elston program that the Atlanta Braves and Los Angeles Angels had already pulled off a trade. And my first thought is, no, it's too early. You just can't start like that. But you can. There's no reason you can't get going and start making moves for the next season.
Well, the funny thing is, it came out from a source. I can't remember who it was, but it came out from a source that isn't like, it's not Jeff Passan, right? It wasn't Jeff Passan. So I was like, this is BS. This couldn't have happened already. And sure enough, Passan follows it up later, and it was the Atlanta Braves sending Jorge Soler, designated hitter Jorge Soler, to the Anaheim Angels in exchange for righty Griffin Canning. And I saw Braves fans weren't super upset when they got the full terms of the deal, because the Braves just unloaded Jorge Soler and got a potential probably fifth starter for their rotation, or a depth piece type person in Griffin Canning, a higher ceiling type candidate. But they unloaded $26 million from their payroll and to free them up for other moves in the offseason. And it does kind of beg the question, what are the Angels doing?
As we ask
Ask most
every
offseason.
offseason.
Well, I mean, Jorge Soler is not. He's not. I mean, in terms of just player for player, if you said they were both free,
Yeah.
you'd probably go the Angels got the better of that deal.
Potentially.
Jorge Soler
But he wasn't
a better
free.
player than Griffin Canning. Now, when you add the money to it, it makes you feel like the Braves got the better end of this trade.
Yeah, he was kind of it. The way that some of the Braves fans described Jorge Soler was he was kind of unnecessary, as he was a DH, and that's what Marcell Ozuna is, and they're going to pick him up on a $16 million club option, and he's a better option defensively. Had a decent second half of the season, Benny. Had 15 of his 21 homers in 386 plate appearances. But what they think about Griffin Canning is that they can, I mean, he ate 127 innings in 23, had a little bit better strikeout and walk rates, and they think that he's a project. But they have a good rotation right now with A.J. Smith-Shawver, who we saw in the playoffs, that young kid, Ian Anderson, Bryce Elder, Hurston Waldrep, and they've got some guys that are probably going to leave in free agency and max free. They need arms.
It's interesting because I was looking back at the trade deadline as I was kind of going through my notes. I saved all the moves from the trade deadline. I was about to delete them, and then I started just looking through them.
Smart.
And
That's
I know
our Benny, man.
I
That's our
noticed.
Benny.
Well, I noticed there was a pattern that if you look at the moves that were made at the trade deadline, the teams that did better at the trade deadline were the ones who did better in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was pretty clear. I mean, starting with the Dodgers, the moves that they made, like picking up Jack Flaherty and Tommy Edman, that really helped them, especially in the postseason. Two guys that were very critical
How many
to their
teams
run.
pick up at the deadline
Kopech.
their Game 1 World Series starter?
Right, and Kopech,
how
I mean,
about their National League Division Series
MVP, and one of their most key members of the bullpen. The Padres obviously did really well
Yeah.
at the trade deadline with Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing and Jason Adam and Martin Perez. I mean, that was critical for the Padres to make their run into the playoffs. But even look at teams like the Mets. They got Ryan Stanek. The Guardians got Lane Thomas. He ended up hitting a giant home run for them in the postseason. The Yankees obviously picked up Jazz Chisholm Jr., who wasn't great for them, but did hit a home run in the World Series at some point. I mean, most of these guys that were picked up at the deadline, the Astros, Yusei Kikuchi was a big pickup for them. It was a pretty successful trade deadline this year for teams that were looking to add pieces for playoff runs. Like, a lot of teams did really well at the trade deadline this year.
And you think about some of the teams that were in the postseason that, like, we had everything we needed. We really did. We picked up every single thing we needed, helped propel us to as far as we got, which was not far enough. But AJ did a great job at the deadline. And obviously Andrew Friedman did a phenomenal job at the deadline, especially since he picked up Kopech and Edmund for literally nothing. I mean, nothing. Just spare parts. We gave a decent amount of prospects. That's not really something AJ's too worried about, replenishing the prospects. He's done a great job at that. But you look at a team like the Guardians, and you're like, bro, you took the Yankees. I mean, you played the Yankees tough. You have to look back at that and go, why did we only add Lane Thomas? Why didn't we go out and get a Kopech? Imagine Kopech on their team. Imagine Tommy Edman on their team. Imagine any of the guys. Imagine Tanner Scott or Jason Adam. Like, all of these moves, it really behooves you, if you think you can do it, to make some strong moves. And Lane Thomas at the deadline wasn't going to be enough to get them over the hump.
No, I mean, even like Jesse Winker contributed for the Mets in the postseason. And then the teams that didn't do that well at the trade deadline, like the Mariners getting Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner, didn't really help them that much, and they didn't even make the postseason.
Crazy how bad Arozarena was.
It just underscores how important the trade deadline is. Maybe too important, honestly.
Maybe too important.
Because you'd like to think that putting together your team and, the offseason and spring training is the most important thing. But you look at the trade deadline this year, and it felt like that was actually a huge key to every team's success or lack of success, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So the rest of the moves yesterday, there was, I think Daz Cameron was traded for cash considerations.
From the A's.
From the A's.
Mike Cameron's son. He's got some potential.
But the rest of this weekend is going to be focused on players who have contract options, who do or do not exercise those options, including with the Padres. The first big one will be Ha-Seong Kim, who we expect to elect free agency, but that has not been officially announced yet. And I believe Monday is the deadline for those players who have contract options or mutual options, as is the case with Ha-Seong Kim. If there's team options, teams also have to make those decisions pretty much at some point this weekend by the Monday deadline. So that's going to be the focus for this first weekend of the offseason, figuring out who's actually a free agent and who's not a free agent going into the offseason.
Yeah, and, we talked yesterday after the show about a potential, we all remember last year around this time, and it was just kind of the impending waiting for Juan Soto to be traded. We did not know. We had not heard anything about a potential managerial swap last year, so we feel like we've got that part of it locked down, right? Got our manager coming back. He's under contract for one more year. I know he wants to get an extension, and I know AJ said they're talking about that right now, so hopefully that gets done. Niebla remains that kind of one hanging out there that would make me feel just so much better. It would make me feel so much better. It would instantly, if we went out and signed the 35th best pitching, starting pitcher on the free agent market, it would make me go, okay, that bumps him up to 25th in my mind. Ruben gets in, gets his hands dirty, and works with him. He's done such a great job since he's been here. I feel like Ruben is our top priority, and then things will fall into place.
I think about for 90% of the teams, the pitching coach, I can't imagine the fan bases are waiting with bated breath for an announcement on the pitching coach returning. But it's so important to the Padres.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous or anxious as every passing day goes without hearing anything?
Yes, but that's how I'm wired.
Right.
That's just who I am. So in my mind,
I would love an announcement this morning.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, you guys know how I operate. Let's get it done. Let's get it done now. What are we waiting for?
I guess
give him what he wants and let's move on. I'm a bad negotiator.
I'm not going to be mad if Ruben Niebla, gets hired as a manager somewhere else.
No,
because you're not going to stand in his way of that promotion.
Sure.
I know what you're going to say.
So the only thing that you really are mad at is another organization coming in and outpaying the Padres to make him their pitching coach.
Correct.
Because
Because
an organization that just hired a manager that he's very close with.
That's really kind of the number 2 job in a dugout. There's bench
bench
coach.
coach, but
There's
we don't
bench
have one.
coach, but he's a pitching coach, and that's what he's going to be. So I don't think he's looking to be a bench coach. He's a pitching coach. So I just can't see the Padres letting another organization just go so vastly outpay them. We know Ruben wants to be here. His family's here. Padres would really have to mess this up, I think, to not have Ruben come back. So I feel fairly confident about it. And they will open the door to a lot of criticism if they do, they were willing to offer $5,000 more, and we just weren't willing to go that high on Rubens.
I got you.
I mean, we remember it stunned us when I looked up, and I don't know how accurate it was. Like the AI Google, the average pitching coach salary is about $78,000 a year. I'm going, all right, when your payroll for your roster is in the 200 million section, let's not let a few $1,000 stand between you and a guy that we think is this important to the organization.
That's like 50 fans going out and buying a jersey at the team store.
We will go fund the difference.
Right,
on this
whatever you
show.
need.
I mean, bro. Actually, under the table. Nobody even needs to know. All right? Holy cow.
All right, we'll come back. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods. Play a little take on Woods. And football is weird. Horrible game last night with maybe the play of the season.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next year on 97.3 The Fan. Got a potentially fun new category in Take on Woods today, submitted by a Tier 1, but just one of the 3 selections, and your chance to win Aztecs tickets, our last pair, our last chance to give away a pair this week, coming up in just a couple of minutes. I'll let you know. If you want to call in early, you can. 833-288-0973. We'll play our game before the end of this segment. I did have some people in the chat talking about our discussion of Ruben Niebla, and Johnny says, I could honestly see a world where Niebla reunites with Tito.
Sure.
Terry Francona, who was just named the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, Ruben Niebla worked as a coach in that organization under Terry Francona when he was with the Cleveland Guardians. And I'm sure there is a relationship there. And Terry Francona is considered one of the best. You know, everyone in baseball seems to like him a lot. And I'm sure Ruben likes him a lot based on just, you know, my intuition of what everyone seems to believe about Terry Francona.
I watched the comeback. Paulie, you watched the
finished
comeback
it last night
on Netflix, the story of the 2004 Red Sox.
How could you not love Terry
Dude,
Francona?
and you know, that was in the peak of my Yankee fandom. He was still a guy I was like, all right, I love you. I love him. I loved him. I've always loved him.
If you haven't seen it, it's a 3-part documentary on Netflix.
It's excellent.
Go watch it.
It is.
If you like baseball,
Bro.
regardless of what side, if you cared about that rivalry or not, it was phenomenal. And every time they panned over to Tito talking about whatever was going on in the show, you're like, God, I love him. He is great.
He is a guy, Benny, that when you hear him talk, you think to yourself, what I wouldn't give to just go have a lunch with him, just one lunch, and listen to all the stories. And he was kind of figuring it out with that team, you know, and I'm telling you, the offseason is here, and that's when it's time to sit down and watch 3-part baseball documentaries if you need your fix. It's incredible. It's an incredibly done documentary, and Tito is the star. And I did tweet the other night. The Nomar Garciaparra stuff in it is beyond compare. I mean, it's truly amazing. And then you see the day he gets traded, and he's walking out. He just addressed the media, and there is a very young, very handsome Don Orsillo there to pat him on the back as he leaves. And to see that, I was like, man, again, all the acquisitions we've made here in San Diego over the years, going to be tough to top Don Orsillo.
That is a good acquisition the Padres made, no doubt about
just
that.
Elite, the elite
You can
of
tell
the elite.
because to this day, the Red Sox fans that still are
sick.
like, how?
Yeah, I know. It's great. So it's such a well-done documentary. But, yeah, man, you watch it. It doesn't give you any – if you're talking about Niebla going to work for him, it doesn't make you feel any better about it. I'll tell you that.
That's what I was alluding to. That's what gives me the anxiety.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, before we get to Take on Woods and maybe talk a little Thursday night football, we do have a special, one of Ben's first surprises of the morning, birthday boy here. Let's take call line 6 here. Caller, who is this?
It's Kim.
Oh,
hi, Mom.
Good morning.
Mim.
Hi, honey.
Mim.
That's right.
Were you talking to me or him when you said honey?
You're all. I think of you all as honey.
As our honey.
Now, Ben.
Yeah.
We have to go back to being a loyal Tier 1, listening early. Don't you think all the people listening wonder what might have gone wrong in your very early life? That A, you don't let yourself have headphones, and worse yet, that you don't admit to the Costco people that you dropped it.
I told
bet
them
they're
that
thinking,
I dropped it.
No, you didn't. You told him it was
I
dropped.
told it was dropped. Does it really matter who
Yes.
dropped it?
Yeah, it
It's
does.
That's like I'm just saving myself the added pain of having to just come totally clean with it. I think I'm a very practical person, and I think that's a sign of a good upbringing. And I'm very happy with who I am. So thank you for that.
I'm so glad. I thought maybe they pictured a very harsh upbringing.
No.
And I thought you'd be okay.
Since I've known Ben, the last thing I've thought is that his upbringing was harsh.
Oh, good.
It's never even really been in question.
Good.
Mim.
Good. Oh,
He's a sweet, sweet angel. And,
yes, he is.
And I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry for if we ever, make fun of him because I know you listen and it's hard.
If you
Corrupted him.
ever make fun of him, people. He's a very good sport.
He's the best sport. I would say that I have corrupted him slightly in 7 years, but not as much as I thought I would.
Right. Well, he had a lot of room.
Yeah.
to,
Oh my God, did
corrupted.
he ever?
So I'm not worried about it. He has a long way to go, our Ben.
What is that the most
Good.
disappointed you've ever been in him this morning when you heard he didn't rat himself out? Like truly, is that the most disappointed you've ever
And
been?
if not,
Well,
what was?
No, that's a good point. It was just so not Ben.
Right.
So no, Ben does not ever disappoint. Let me
Sweet
tell
baby.
you.
What a
Actually,
sweet
you know.
angel.
Oh, well, you just enjoy them celebrating you, and Ben. And I know you have a really good day. So glad that you were born. Couldn't do much better than Ben as a firstborn. Would you agree?
100%.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Okay.
Love
honey.
you.
Have a really good day. I love you.
Thank you.
Love
Bye,
you.
you guys.
See you
Bye.
on Sunday.
Love you all.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She's a good mom.
You're blushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're blushing a little bit. She's a great mom.
She's like a really, really good mom.
She's the goat. She's
really, I mean, patient,
kind,
understanding,
loving.
kind,
Yep.
loving. Yeah.
She. And the funny thing is our mothers actually look very similar. If they're in the same room together, you're like, whoa. And they're both that same sweet. Now I put my mom through reams more than you did. I'm amazed she's still standing. But yeah, they're just the sweetest ladies. I don't know how they do it.
Very happy.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see. Before we get to Take on Woods, just quickly, did either of you watch Thursday Night Football
I did.
last night?
I watched the second half.
Well, that's good. The second half was actually
I watched a
a
little of
decent.
the first half.
The second half was a decent football game. The first half was an embarrassment to professional football. Aaron Rodgers looked like
what was the over 42
looked
and a
like
half?
a rookie quarterback. C.J. Stroud looked terrible. No one could score. We'll get to in Don't Do This. One of the more embarrassing moments you'll ever see on a football field.
How has this happened in the NFL? More than one time. More than once.
It was an argument for just getting rid of Thursday Night Football. Like you can't get ready to play on a short week. Stop trying.
Stop.
This is just a bad version of the game. The second half was actually okay. The Jets kind of got it going more than the Texans did, but it included what may be the play of the season. It was a catch by Garrett Wilson, very reminiscent, maybe as good as OBJ's legendary one-handed over his head catch. It was originally ruled out of bounds in the end zone. When they went back and they challenged it through the replay flag, they ruled that he got his shin down. And, you know, a foot and a shin are a different piece of body part. So they said that was a touchdown, which makes it definitely one of the best plays you're going to see and a highlight that will definitely live on for many years to come with just an unbelievable one-handed grab by Wilson.
Yeah, again, we're taking the part of the game that was potentially the worst, and we're going to save it for Don't Do This.
I think
because
so.
we have to. We have to. It was that bad. And again, a play that should have happened in the NFL one time, and one time only. It should have been
Not one time per player.
No.
One time in the history, of the NFL, and never again.
And never again. And the fact that they even have to think about telling these grown professionals not to do this. But you know what? You think about, we'll get into it and Don't Do This. I'll save it. I'll save my take.
Paulie's showing the video of the Wilson catch on our YouTube stream.
It's
It really
insane.
was an insane grab that he somehow
Oh, my God,
pulls it
dude.
down. It is incredible.
Who was the one-handed catch years ago? Was it OBJ?
Yeah, that was OBJ.
God.
This is as close as we've seen
close
to that
as you've
one
seen.
for sure.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, we got a couple contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Let's go right at the top of the board. Mark, are you there?
I am.
Mark, all right. You are a contestant today for Take on Woods. If you can beat or tie Woods, you will be put into our one-week drawing for tickets to the Aztecs basketball season opener on Wednesday, November 6th at Viejas Arena against UCSD. One winner this week qualifies. I think we've had a couple of qualifiers, so you can at least give yourself a 1-in-3 chance at these tickets with a win today and Take on Woods. And to give you an advantage, I will give you the category selections. Here are your choices. We've got Blank Like Blank, Part 2, song titles that are connected by the word like. We've got This for That. They are song titles connected by the word for, and they're all 2-second songs. And our new category submitted by Tier 1, Ben reads lyrics, something totally different, kind of like Ben reads raps, but I will read you a list of song lyrics, and you'll have to identify the song title and the artist based on those lyrics. So, Mark, what would you like to play? Blank like blank, this for that, or Ben reads lyrics?
Let's go with Ben reads lyrics. Happy
All right.
birthday, by the
For
way,
my
Ben.
birthday, I like that idea. All right. Something new for you today. A submission from Tier 1, Carl. I'm going to read lyrics from a well-known hit, so no 2-second song in this one. Based on those lyrics, you need to identify the song and the artist to score the point. So they're all 2-part questions. Makes it a little bit tougher with all 5 of them. So understand how it works, Russell?
No, I'm Mark, but I do understand.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. That was the other line. My bad. Mark, you understand how it works?
Okay.
All right, Paul, you don't need to play anything. You just need to man the clock. You have 60 seconds. Your time begins when I start reading the first set of lyrics. Again, looking for the song title and the artist. Good luck, Mark. Let's take on Woods. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti.
Pass.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of...
It's the Eagles, Hotel California.
Correct. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious.
Smells like Teen Spirit, Nirvana.
Correct. This hit, that's ice cold. Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls. Straight masterpiece. Styling while in, living it up in the city.
Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk.
Correct. In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey, butane in my veins, and I'm out to cut the junk.
That is Beck, Loser.
Correct. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti.
Spaghetti Tank.
No, but good Wood-style guess. 4 out of 5. Very well done. The only one you didn't get, that was Eminem, Lose Yourself. You got the other 4, Eagles, Hotel California, Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, and Beck, Loser. All right, Mark, hang on the line. Very well played. All right. We got something new today, Woods.
Okay.
All right, this was submitted by Tier 1, Carl.
Nice.
I will read song lyrics.
Oh,
you
boy.
need to identify the song title and the artist. So they're all 2
you're
parts, no
reading
2-second songs. I read the lyrics. Little kind of Ben Reed's raps meets Take on Woods here.
Title and artist.
Title and
Okay.
artist for all 5. So they're all 2-part questions. Mark's score is locked in. Your time begins when I start reading the first set of lyrics. Woods, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's take on Mark. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Lose Yourself, Eminem.
Correct. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my
Hotel
hair.
California, the Eagles.
Correct. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel
Smells
stupid.
like Teen Spirit, Nirvana.
Correct. This hit, that ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls. Straight masterpiece. Styling while in, living it up in the city.
Pass.
In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey. Butane in my veins.
Loser
and I'm
by Beck.
Correct. This hit, this ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls. Straight masterpiece. Styling while in, living it up in the city.
It's not ringing any bells.
I knew this would be the one to hold you up.
Will I know it when I hear it?
You'll know the song for sure. This hit, that ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls. Straight masterpiece. Styling while in, living it up in the city.
Kanye West, My Take.
No, and we got a 4-4
Uptown
tie,
Funk
which
you
is
up.
good enough.
Uptown
Uptown
Funk
Funk.
you
That
Uptown
is-
Funk.
That is Bruno Mars, which means, Mark, you have qualified. Congratulations for the San Diego State tickets and our first ever Ben Reed's lyrics.
Tie, though. That's nice.
Tie is good. I don't think you lost. You had a tie, 2 ties.
Yeah,
And
2
we
ties.
had a real or fake winner, and that's it. So,
Never
Mark,
lost.
stay on the line. Paulie will get your information during the break. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was good. It's nerve-wracking.
Carl, thank you for the idea. Thank you for the submission. I've gotten more submissions from Tier 1s lately, which is always appreciated
Yeah.
because, you know, a lot of days, a lot of games, a lot of categories to come up with. And anytime I don't have to do my own work.
You just got a nice birthday wish on our Twitter page from the obnoxious Dodger fan.
The obnoxious Dodger fan. The only one?
The only
one.
It says, happy birthday from the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. So congratulations. What every,
you do a great job.
every Padres fan wants to get on his birthday.
I mean, you know, considering the payroll, you'd think that they could kind of spring for a fairly nice gift.
better
you would
gift.
think than just a a tweet.
Yeah.
But thank you to the Dodgers and their fan base for wishing me
Thank you to
happy
Andrew
birthday.
Friedman.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew Friedman. Thank you, Freddie Freeman. Thank you, Kiki Hernandez. Really
Guggenheim
appreciate
Group.
the Guggenheim Group. They're worth like $50 billion. This team's never going away, ever.
I mean, what's a
to Uncle
million?
Magic
I mean, it's my
Johnson.
birthday.
Give him $1 million.
You got billions.
Give him
Just
$1
throw me
million.
a million. You won't even miss it.
Give him $1 million.
You won't even miss it. All right, Don't Do This is coming up next. We teased one, the moment from Thursday Night Football last night.
Well, as Dominic just brought up in the chat, we know of at least one Dodger fan that's probably not sending any texts this morning.
That's a good point. Sorry.
Or
That's
doing much else.
not that funny. Well, maybe you can always text with your other hand.
It's really hard. Can you text with your left hand?
You have to learn at some point
Yeah,
when you
he's
when
gonna
you
have
do what
to.
he did.
Yep, he's going to have
All
to.
right, that is coming up next after a check of traffic on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
That is mine. No.
All right, hit me. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, Woodsy, why don't you get us started today on a Friday edition of Don't Do This?
Well, listen, our audience, our tier ones, you know I have a weak stomach. You know I do. And I must have gotten this sent to me 50 times yesterday. But in the wake of the Dodgers winning the World Series, we saw a bus burned. We saw some stores looted. We saw all kinds of interactions between the police and fans out there. One guy was climbing on a bus, graffitiing the bus in real time. I mean, it was pretty gnarly out there. So be careful. Today's the parade for the World Series at 11. Don't act a fool. Don't do anything goofy. This guy's going to have a rough one. He actually had a rough one. He was lighting fireworks in the street. And I got this video 50 times yesterday. He blew his hand off. He full on.
There's not much left.
He lit a firework. And the wick on this thing, they called it the suicide wick because the wick on this thing was about, bite your thumbnail off, okay? Hold it up, and that's about the size of this wick. And he was holding it in one hand and lit it with the other, and it exploded in his hand, and it blew his hand apart. And then he's trying to walk it off and moving his hand up and down, but it's just a nub. There's no more, there's like no fingers left.
I'll have to admit, I'm kind of afraid of fire. I've never done...
Paulie, it didn't have the... the old
The
insult
sparkles
to
at the end.
injury sparkles after.
Woo! As someone who's always been somewhat afraid of fire, matches, even the sparklers were a little much for me. Just to hold them as far away from my face as possible when they would hand them to me on the 4th of July. I can't even imagine lighting a firework in my hand.
What in the... What was he lighting? Was it dynamite? Because I've lit my... Lighted?
Litten?
Litted.
What is it?
Lit?
I've lit my fair share of fireworks. I've even had some close calls. Nothing even close to that.
Roman candle
wars, 100%. Thump, thump, thump. Never even come close.
Seems dangerous.
It was.
Yeah.
Wasn't smart.
I've never come close to blowing my hand off. And I don't know what he was lighting out there. I mean, was it C4? Like, what was it?
Obviously, many states, including California, have regulations and restrictions on fireworks usage. And they all make perfect sense. They really do. But there's also that instinct, I think, of a lot of people that, hey, it's my life, and I want to be able to set off a firework if I want.
Yes. Well, we all do that.
But you also want to protect people against their own, stupidity sometimes.
Again.
Like this guy probably wishes they had been a little more restrictive on the fireworks sales wherever he picked that one up.
I can promise you, because he doesn't have a hand left. I mean, it is like, it was disgusting. It looked like, for a sec, I was like, this is Hollywood, so maybe it's special effects. It wasn't. I mean, and then there's another view that's even closer. Dude, it is. I don't know what kind of strength of fireworks he was lighting, but it kind of ruined my day yesterday.
Right.
Don't watch it.
Whenever the day is that we have Peter Seidler's parade for a Padres World Series title, don't blow your hand off.
No, please don't.
Learn the lessons.
Yeah.
And speaking of not learning...
This is it.
Lessons.
Learn some lessons, guys.
Malachi Corley, rookie wide receiver of the New York Jets, did something that, as Woods pointed out earlier, should have happened once, maybe once, in the history of the NFL. Who did it? Deshaun Jackson, I think, did it.
Oh, it's happened.
It's happened
I swear
multiple
it happened
times.
over the weekend. At least one was being reviewed.
Thursday Night Football, he's got the ball. There's no one in front of him. 10-yard line, 5-yard line. Gets to the goal line, and to try to be a total casual, cool dude, I'm just going to let the ball go as I cross the goal line because I am so cool. This was actually, I believe, his first ever catch in the NFL.
One you'll remember forever,
And
buddy.
he dropped the ball at about the 1 foot line and it rolled out of the end zone, and that is not a touchdown.
No.
That is a fumble. That is a touchback, and that is Houston Texans ball at the 20-yard line. I mean, it's literally lighting 7 points on fire.
Yeah.
In a game, in a sport where generally the games are decided by less than that almost every week. He is very fortunate that his team actually did win the game in the end, and that did not cost the Jets the win and possibly their season, knowing that they're pretty much on the brink as it is.
It's Leon Lett comes to mind. I believe that was on Thanksgiving one year. He was running down the field. He had recovered a fumble. Remember, he stuck his. He's like at the 5, and he stuck the football out like
to celebrate. Yeah.
And somebody comes up and knocks it out of his hand. Bro, if it were me or any kid that I coached, you have that thing. It's precious because touchdowns just don't come along that much. You know what I mean? Like, you're a rookie. You don't know how long you're going to make it in the league. You cradle that thing in your arm until you cross the line. Then you do whatever you want. I'm not going to get mad at your dance. I'm not going to get mad at your celly. I'm not. I'm going to be like, good. Hell yeah, man. It's a touchdown. If you drop it, I may never play you again.
There were a lot of Jets fans, football fans in general, who said this guy should be cut. Like tomorrow, like today.
That was the Super Bowl for Leon Lett. Yeah, the Super Bowl. Oh my God. Yeah, he stuck it out, and Don Beebe got him. Insane behavior. So it begs the question. We say that it should only happen once, but we see 50 times a year somebody hit one and think that they got it and start Cadillacing it down to first. Teoscar Hernandez did it a week ago. They think they got it. They start pimping their home run and it doesn't go out. Toddy's done it. Everybody's done it. We see so many of our guys do it. That's also another one that should maybe happen to you one time. I can see getting caught up in the moment, being like, oh, I got all that. And you don't know what the wind's looking like. You don't know the ballpark that you're playing in all the time. Once. You get one in baseball.
I will also say that at least the juice of being able to like bat flip and trot out of home plate is actually really cool. Dropping the ball at the goal line isn't even that spectacularly cool. You're not really getting anything out of it. It's just the stupid part of it.
It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. All right, and I will get us finished up on Do This.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
As the resident king of petty here on Ben and Woods, you know I liked this move, and I called this move when it happened. And I went down exactly as I said. If you missed it, a couple of months ago, they were wrapping up or maybe a month ago, they were wrapping up
a month ago tomorrow.
They're wrapping up the Arizona Diamondbacks' disappointing season. And owner Ken Kendrick was on the phone with a local radio program in Arizona, and they asked him about Jordan Montgomery, and he said this.
Let me say it the best way I can say it. If anyone wants to blame anyone for Jordan Montgomery being a Diamondback, you're talking to the guy that should be blamed. Because I brought it to their attention. I pushed for it. They agreed to it. It wasn't in our game plan. When he was signed right at the end of spring training. And looking back, in hindsight, a horrible decision, to have invested that money in a guy that performed as poorly as he did. It's our biggest mistake this season from a talent standpoint. And I'm the perpetrator of that.
All right, so he takes the accountability. He throws his player under the bus. The issue, though, of course, was that Jordan Montgomery had an opt-in. Now, I think certain people would hear that and go, I don't want to play for that guy. I'm opting out. You'd be an idiot.
Very logical.
Yeah, that guy hates me. He said I'm his biggest mistake. I'm going to opt out. Jordan Montgomery said, nope, I'm opting in. Because you know what it meant to opt in? It meant a contract worth $22.5 million this year. So he's going to opt in, which I thought was a brilliant move. It's a great business decision. And, I'm sure they'll figure out what to do with him.
He can rebuild his value this year and maybe hit free agency again next season if it works out well for Jordan Montgomery.
Because what you're not going to do, if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks and Torey Lovullo, no matter what your owner says, what you're not going to do is bury a guy for $22.5 at the end of the bench. You're going to try to get what you can out of Jordan Montgomery, or if he's an issue, now he opted in, so he's part of the team, and that's the mentality I would come to spring training with is, hey, man, he may not like me, but I'm part of the team. I'm making 22.5. I'll pitch wherever you want me to pitch. I'll do whatever you want me to do. But if you're Torey Lovullo, you're trying to win ball games. And Jordan Montgomery can help you win ball games when right. If he's so big of a problem, I wonder if they would move him and eat some money.
Here's the problem for the Diamondbacks. They don't have a lot of flexibility, and they have players to bring back. And with Jordan Montgomery's salary on the roster, if they can't move him, they're going to have a real hard time bringing back Christian Walker and Jock Peterson.
I'll give you Bryce Johnson for him today.
So
you eat the salary, I'll give you Bryce Johnson, and we'll call it a day.
So they've got some work to do now in the offseason and figuring out what the plan is with Jordan Montgomery.
Raise your hand if you would take Jordan Montgomery as the guy to come in and maybe eat some of those innings that Joe Musgrove. Ben, you didn't raise your hand. You don't want Jordan Montgomery?
Why do you hate Jordan Montgomery?
Why do you hate Jordan Montgomery?
What did he do to you?
I would take Jordan Montgomery.
You didn't raise your hand.
Not at $22.5 million.
Correct. That's
but
what I'm saying. They're not going to be able to move him at 22.5.
Right.
They're going to have to eat.
Depends on how much they eat, but if they will eat a significant chunk, I would definitely look for Jordan Montgomery on a bounce back season.
Half?
Yeah, if they ate $10 million, I'm taking Jordan Montgomery 12.5.
And as Adam points out, someone who will be very motivated to stick it to the Diamondbacks.
All in. He's a bulldog, dude. He had a late start. He did not get off to the best start. I think he was injured as well. That guy's done it. He's done it at the highest level. He did it in the World Series. He's a dog. And now you got a pissed off dog. So give me him all day, and I'm sure they're going to want to get rid of him, and that'd be great.
And that's don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
This segment of Ben and Woods brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild, smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go. So you guys kind of put me on the spot this morning in creating Ben's special segment for my birthday next.
It was one of our gifts to you.
I know. And you're not going to like what I've come up with.
Oh, great.
Just what I like to hear.
When we come back.
Okay.
Something that Woods actively despises.
Fantastic.
When we return on San Diego's #1 sports station.
Better not be fantasy football talk,
97.3 The Fan.
Part of your birthday gift was to give you the chance to do whatever you wanted for the next 20 minutes. And if you had said the same to me, I don't know what I would have done. What did you come up with?
We wanted to give you enough time.
Well,
to come
what
up
I
with
really
something.
kind of wanted to do was to see you tap dance your way around Sports Talk Radio's most traditional segment, the one that we never do on this show, the one that I grew up listening to.
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore is not a bad call.
It's a terrible call. That's why we don't do it.
I was going to just say open phones.
Are you kidding me? Open
phones. Topics, every topic on the table. You want to talk with Woods about the Minnesota Timberwolves?
No.
Or you want to talk about the
open phones.
Miami Hurricanes football? You can call in and discuss it with Woods and Paul, and I'll chime in if I want.
No, this is your segment.
No, but my segment is enjoying what you have to do.
Oh, I didn't know that this was torture your co-host and your producer.
Isn't that what we always do for celebrations? Oh, can I open my presents?
You can, but your presents kind of need your undivided attention. I don't know how we're going to do this if I'm also answering calls about the T-Wolves. So it's you put me in a tough spot here.
Huh. Do we have, no one's calling. Should I just open my presents? All right, well, you can call in if you want, 833-288-0973, but tempted with the idea of gifts. I may actually go in that direction after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a couple things to mention here, guys. One of them is a collision in the North County eastbound side of the 78, right at the southbound 15 connector ramp. Several vehicles involved in that. Also, westbound 52 before Mast Boulevard. We're getting reports of a possible brush fire, some smoke visible in the area. Also, collision in which a vehicle may have struck a pedestrian in Balboa Park, south 163, right before the 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Woods, you ready to take some calls? They're coming in hot and heavy right now at 833-288-0973.
Would you say the phone lines are screaming?
Any topic is on the table. The phone lines are screaming right now here on 97.3 The Fan. It's your show, San Diego. Take it over with Ben and Woods. Let's just start with RJ in Lakeside.
RJ, welcome
to 97.3 The Fan.
Is that happy belated birthday that I hear? Did I miss it?
That's early birthday. It's not until Sunday.
Happy early birthday. 30-something years old, I'm sure. Absolutely. Ben, you're the greatest. What do we want to say? We want to say, okay, let the free agency fiasco begin.
Yes.
And maybe start giving a little love to this SDFC, the soccer club?
Yeah, SDFC.
Maybe we start giving them a little love. And I know Annie Nelson's going to do a little something with them today. That's pretty cool. Maybe we start to follow them. Who knows? It might be a nice little fun thing.
It's literally what Ben said.
Just had this argument during the
commercial
break.
It wasn't really an argument.
Well, Woods is when they start playing, we will start talking about San Diego FC, but he's not ready to jump into it yet.
Right.
I know they're having Mikey Veras, the head coach of San Diego FC, and I will be interested to hear what he has to say at some point. But there are they have like 2 or 3 players, and I think the expansion draft is coming up soon. But I'm not going to even pretend that I have enough knowledge to break down the expansion MLS draft for you and give you an intelligent opinion on who San Diego FC should really be targeting from the Columbus Crew or the New England Revolution that's available in this expansion draft coming up. Just not there yet. Maybe we'll get there, but I'm not there yet.
As you know, I'm more of a reactor on sports like that as opposed to a previewer, right? Does that make more sense? We got Craig here on staff for that. Craig is very dialed in on soccer, and I
trust that he will keep us informed of what we need to know.
Yeah, I am
about San Diego FC.
Big fan of deferring to the experts on it.
I am shocked at how popular open phones is already. But you got my present here right in front of me, and you said it kind of needs my undivided attention.
Let's take one more call.
All right. Let's go to Eric. You're next up here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, guys. How you doing this morning?
Good man.
Good. Happy early birthday, Ben.
Thank you.
I'm going to make this easy, obviously. Just wanted to call in, let you guys know. I am a New England transplant here, San Diego, but I don't think my radio dial has changed from 97.3 in about a year now.
Nice.
Love listening to you guys,
Thank you.
Annie and Elston, Gwen and Chris. Just want to let you guys know, I'd like to consider myself a tier 1. I had no idea what it was the first time I turned it on.
Yeah, nobody does.
But,
you listen,
but now I feel like
part of the family.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a tier 1. And look, radio's in the blood. My father, my mother, all on the air. I
Nice.
dabble a little bit. If you guys ever need a fill-in, if Ben or Woods or anyone's on vacay, I'll reach out. I'm happy to join. You know, we can talk Padres. I know a little
Shoot a
football,
shot.
basketball.
Our boss
But,
is listening right now. You're
you
making
have
a good
to.
case here, Eric.
I like that, man.
You have
All right.
to.
Shoot us a DM.
But,
Maybe we'll
I
have you fill
appreciate
in.
you guys.
All right. Shoot us a DM. Maybe we'll have you fill in when Ben goes on one of his many vacations. And yeah. come on.
Honestly, I would think Adam, after that call and how he never turns the dial and loves all of the show and is a loyal listener, he's probably getting an interview later today from Adam, would be my guess.
I'm gonna guess not, but I will say that you always need guys coming off the bench, and some bench pieces are always nice. So Eric, shoot one of us a DM, preferably Ben, and we'll see what we can do.
See, that was painless,
That's
but I
very
want to open
painless.
my presents. So
I do too.
All
All
right.
right.
So this
Paulie,
is heavy.
Do I need to explain?
Well, I mean, you
Or
have to
will he-
describe
he'll
the
get-
people on the
Probably
radio.
pick
Okay.
up on it. Is
All
my
right, so we got a
guess.
gift bag, fairly large in size.
Just get right to it.
Ooh, okay. We've
Okay,
got
so here we go. Just start pulling them
We've
out.
got just a kind of a melange of Ben's things that I like. We got some
How'd you know?
Butterfinger candy.
Butterfinger.
We've got some butterscotch sucker candies, butterscotch
Hard candies.
hard candies.
Hard candy.
We've got The Legend of Bagger Vance DVD, starring Will Smith and Matt Damon.
You do like a Matt Damon
You
film.
do like a
I
good
do,
Matt Damon
and
film.
I like golf. We've got chocolate cream pie. I do like a good cream pie. We've got white powdered donuts. I like a powdered donut.
I looked for Entenmann's. I couldn't find them. They don't sell Entenmann's at Walmart, which may not surprise you.
I do like the standard yellow peep, which I have now. I have my peeps here. Peeps for my peeps. Corn on the cob. I like corn on the cob. Thank you for
1 ear of corn. It's not hand shucked
one
yet.
ear. No, it is not. I do like a Nickelback song or two.
Is that greatest hits?
So a
I
Nickelback
don't know.
CD. This is Dark Horse, featuring. Let's see what. Let's see. Something in Your Mouth. Next go round, Just to Get High. SEX. And Today Was Your Last Day. All right. Well, thank you for that. And then finally, I do like sake. And there is
Cold, clear sake.
cold, clear
sake. Yep.
A bag of things Ben likes.
Yep. There's one.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Here we go.
Goodness gracious. Is this another bag of things Ben likes?
You never know.
All right, here we go.
You like a lot of stuff.
I do like a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. I do like cranberry juice cocktail. Nice.
What's the brand
Bought some
on that?
yesterday. This is a Great Value brand. Discount
Walmart.
brand. Kind of prefer the ocean spray myself, but that's okay. I do like mixed nuts. Mixed nuts.
Nuts.
However, I don't love
We know,
pecans,
the
so I'm going to have to pick those out. And I'm not a big fan of Brazil nuts
Okay,
either.
that's fine.
But I do like cashews. I like cashews.
Yep.
I like those buttered cashews.
Yes, you
These are
do.
just
Yes,
regular.
you do.
I do like brown sugar.
Bag.
This is light
big
brown
old bag.
sugar.
A
Bag
bag
of
of
brown
brown
sugar.
sugar.
This is fantastic.
Yep.
A travel alarm clock.
You like
I like
clocks.
clocks. I do like clocks. Tom Petty.
You like Tom Petty?
I like Tom Petty. I like Tom Petty and the
That's a
Heartbreakers.
good
What do we
one.
got here? Oh, Refugee.
Yep.
Maybe my favorite Tom Petty song of all. What else we've got here?
Here comes my girl.
Even the Losers. Here Comes My Girl. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll put that with the Nickelback CD over there. What I don't have is a CD player anymore.
I thought about that when I got you the DVD.
You know I like a nice firm banana.
Now
This is
how is it?
starting to get a little brown, which Woods wouldn't even touch
I would
something
not
with
touch
this
that.
much brown
No,
on it.
Never. Ugh.
Toss it over to you.
Yep.
I do like maps.
There's a map
and
of
here's
San Diego.
a map of
And
San
you
Diego. I
love
love
San
San
Diego.
Diego. San Diego street map. Haven't seen one of these in a long
I know. How cool is
time.
that?
Like, I don't know the streets of Imperial Beach as well as I should.
Now you do.
This is a way for me to study the map of San Diego.
Yep.
I like golf, and I like the Aztecs. Ooh, Aztecs logoed golf balls, officially licensed, supporting the San Diego State, probably NIL program. And then we've got vanilla. I do like vanilla. Just plain vanilla. Good brand, McCormick vanilla.
McCormick,
Yeah,
solid.
vanilla
As
extract.
solid as it gets.
Solid vanilla flavor extract.
All right,
Is this that we have another?
The last bag.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right, here we go. Another bag of. Oh, I do like these Smarties candies. I like Smarties.
Candies?
I'll put those with my Peeps and my Butterfingers. I like Squirt. 6-pack, little small cans.
Can I
but
have
it's
one
good.
of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Take one
you.
right
Polly
now.
wants one,
I would
too.
love
Yeah,
one.
go ahead and
I
pass it
almost
around.
just took one
Just-
off when I
I
was
know.
packing those up.
Here's one for you, Paul. I won't throw it.
Don't throw it, yeah.
Creamy Skippy peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's my
like it
brand.
creamy.
Like it creamy. I do like Skippy. Summer sausage? Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. I like
pepperoni.
pepperoni.
I like pepperoni.
Yep.
It's a good, solid hunk of pepperoni there. More creaminess. Moisturizing cream.
Yeah.
Cream seems to be a theme. The
You
cream
like
theme.
For you, yes. Cream pies, moisturizing cream.
I like Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yep, you got
And
some
now.
now?
I have
You
my
have your
own
own?
to take home with me in a little small bottle of 8 ounces of Chick-fil-A sauce. And then we've got
Pronus.
It's a portable radio.
It's a radio.
It's
You
a radio.
like radio.
You
I like radio. Oh, I
Yeah.
like radio. Yes.
You know it's a good one because it's a Pronus. It's nothing but the best for you.
So much better than an amateur.
Pronus.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I like those little Smarties rolls.
Got those,
I
yeah.
like those cashew buttered cashews.
Got those
I like the
somewhere.
radio. I like Squirt. I like Skippy.
I like San Diego State.
I like pie.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like cold, clear sake.
I like brown sugar. I like clocks. I like corn.
I like good, firm banana.
I like pepperoni. I like nuts.
I like maps. I do like Butterfinger. I like vanilla. I like Tom Petty. I like when I get up, have a glass of cranberry juice cocktail. I like Chick-fil-A sauce. I like a mini donut too, just like the cream. I do like butterscotch. I do like a good Matt Damon film. This is all the things I like.
There's so many.
I mean, it's very easy to get someone presents they like when they list them for you extensively every single week.
That's right. That's right. And I think I know the answer to this question. Have you ever gotten so many birthday gifts in one birthday?
No,
that you did today. This
is better than Christmas.
It's got to be.
This is my new birthday record for presents.
All right, take an inventory of what you have, and then when we come back, you can, before we put Jordan on, you can tell
Put
us
it on eBay.
You can tell us how many of these you will actually keep.
Okay,
That's what we wanted to know.
There's definitely a few that I'm for sure keeping. The corn may not make it all the way home. I don't know. I like corn.
Yeah, but you
it
don't
require some preparation to
Eating
it.
one ear of corn is sad.
The sake may be gone before
you're
before
done.
we're back to the top of the hour.
Happy birthday, buddy.
I'm going to eat some
Happy
Smarties
birthday, Benny.
right now. Thanks, everybody.
We love you.
We'll be back. Hour number 3 of Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Friday. Big Bad Ben's big birthday bash. And he's getting high off his own supply right now as we speak. He's getting those powdered donuts in him. And we are having a blast. Hope you enjoyed your gifts, Ben. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, the birthday boy, on Sunday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Want to get you a bunch of things that you like. Now, I don't know.
I'm covered in powdered sugar, so you know I appreciated the mini donuts.
It was a fun thing to get for you, but I wonder how much of it you'll keep, and if not, if you want to give me a bag of the stuff you don't, I would say donate it somewhere.
My radio.
Your radio, transistor radio.
Giant antenna.
Giant.
Get some batteries. You can
I haven't even
listen to
seen
the
an
show.
antenna on anything in a long time.
Why do I see him? Let me see it for a sec.
Yeah.
Why do I see him, though, Paulie, sitting in the stands in like 20 years, right? You'll be 69. Excuse me. You'll be 69 years old. Sorry, that was a squirt. You'll be sitting in the stands. You see these guys very, in the ballpark rarely, but they have the antenna and they got the thing up to their ear and they're listening to, hopefully, Jesse and Tony in 20 years, too, talking about the game, listening to their transistor radio. I could see you as being one of those guys.
I do. I've done it before where I've listened in the game. It's been a while since I've actually sat in the ballpark and listened to the radio, but it's actually pretty cool because you miss a lot when you're at the game.
Well,
didn't information that only Jesse and Tony have access to.
And I'm sure that the Padres have done this. I'm sure they've given out transistor radios before. I think every team has like a.
One of my favorite things about being at the ballpark is when you go into the bathrooms.
Yes, and you
can
hear
listen
Jesse.
to Jesse and Tony. And
Yeah.
I was at Dodger Stadium and I had to go to the bathroom and they weren't playing the game. And I go, well, this is a missed opportunity. Why wouldn't you have the game on when people are using the facilities? So I love that they do that at Petco Park.
Yeah, I do too. All right, we got our guest on the line, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. It's Friday. I totally forgot. It is Friday. That means it's a Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday. One of my favorite things is Grand Ole Barbecue. They bring you this segment every single week. And as we wrap up, wrapping up the 2024 Major League Baseball season, we are joined by Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue and Yahoo Sports. Sorry, Jordan, I got caught up in my birthday celebration here. Good morning to you.
Good to see you, gentlemen. Sorry I don't have my nicer setup. It's been a long couple days here after the end of the World Series. I just got home, and I'm excited to be talking to you gentlemen on this fine Friday morning.
Eno Sarris sounded the exact same way yesterday, as did, who did we have on the day before?
Adam Jones. He
was
sounded even worse.
Hello. Hey.
He had traveled from L.A. to New York to Barcelona, in like 3 days for games, and we woke him up at like 5 in the afternoon over there. And
What? And I'm always stoked to see you and Jake at the ballpark in the covering the World Series, man. And obviously we kind of thought it would be us here. That ship has sailed. I get it. Dodgers end up winning. Kind of give us your overall impressions of what you got to see when you were there at both places.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember 2 weeks ago, I believe we had spoken like just after the Padres had been eliminated.
Yeah.
Which now feels like 20 weeks ago. A lot has certainly happened since then. I think going into the series, I know we'll move the Padres perspective aside for a second, but obviously for most neutral perspective people watching this, hoping once you got to this point that you would have hopefully some sort of epic series of heavyweights and some of the best players in the sport. And I think to some degree we got that. We did have the moments from both sides to a degree, but I think by the end the Dodgers were just so much more complete. And while the high end talent was maybe comparable, the Yankees, as we saw with the degree to which they had some issues getting by Kansas City and Cleveland, that just wasn't going to fly against LA. And I think that's really the main takeaway. And even though maybe I know people wanted to maybe go back to LA and be 6 or 7, but I feel like the results and the way that these teams played, this was the correct result.
And Jordan, you said earlier, we all kind of hoped we would get that long heavyweight series, and we could have had the Yankees. Now, I didn't watch a ton of Yankees baseball this year, but I some of the people in my feed that had said, Why is anyone surprised? They've been playing like this all year, sloppy as can be. And I saw an article yesterday. I can't remember who wrote it, damn it.
I do. It was Joel Sherman.
Was it
and
Joel
he brought
Sherman?
the heat.
Oh,
Yeah, New York Post. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. And he was talking about how the Dodgers had scouted the Yankees. They're advanced scouts. They get a lot of credit and praise for good reason. They said the Yankees are the worst positioned team in Major League Baseball. They take the worst leads off of bases. They said if you have the opportunity to press them in the field, take the extra base. They will mess it up. Like, you keep pressing, they're going to screw it up. They said, and this is the heartbreaker, they said the Padres, the Dodgers considered worlds above the New York Yankees at doing all of those little things right. The Yankees were so sloppy. Let me ask you this. How in the world does that happen in New York City with that team, their resources? How does that happen?
It's a great question. I mean, I think that, it's funny too when you think about the contrast of them, not just with the Dodgers and the Padres, but you think about the way that people talk about teams that don't have the resources.
Yes.
And when you talk about a Cleveland, or you talk about a Kansas City, or you talk about, some of the small, it's that they do the little things well because they have to. They absolutely have to. They don't have a choice. You have to run the bases well. You have to play great defense because you don't have, 2 or 3 or 4 of the best hitters of a generation that can just hit the ball over the fence and keep you in the game. Now, again, the Dodgers also have a lot of those things, and then they do a lot of the other little things well, right? And you can say the same thing about the Padres, right? Obviously, there are teams with high payrolls that play the game a little bit cleaner. And so that is why it is particularly interesting. But I do think that contrast there is, it's not necessarily straight arrogance or hubris, but I do think that when you have a combination of anecdotal and statistical evidence that you are a bad base running team, that you do have consistent defensive lapses. I think defensively, if you look at the metrics, it's not as stark. And I think part of that is why when they've been quick to kind of defend and be like, no, actually, our outs above average are just where they are, or so-and-so are just where they are. But I think that when you have the team, to your point, in New York, that everybody is watching closer than anybody else in the regular season, you're not going to get away with this at this time of year, not only because your opponent is better, but because everybody has been paying attention and knows that they've seen them make similar mistakes over the course of the season.
Just to build on kind of what Woods was saying, I am very conflicted as a Padres fan because it's clear, hearing some of the Dodgers talk after the series, like Kike Hernandez, and reading pieces like that and hearing what Dave Roberts had to say, the Dodgers' approach to this postseason, clearly as though the Padres were the team they needed to beat to win this World Series. And the Padres had them up 2-1. I mean, it's like, okay, I like the respect. I like having my team get that sort of respect, but it almost makes it hurt even more knowing Dodgers really felt, they actually did feel they were underdogs to the Padres. As much as we kind of poked fun at a super star roster with as much payroll as they've got, considering themselves underdogs when they were favorites all year long, they legitimately thought they were the underdogs to the Padres. And I don't know whether to like that or to hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not going to tell Padres fans how to feel. So I think I'm sure it's a hard thing to process with. It is also something, again, easier for me to say, kind of a funny reversal of roles, just from the standpoint of like, for so long, the sole goal for the Padres has been to beat the Dodgers, and they did do that. They did do that in the postseason. But this year, obviously, it went in the other direction. And this year, obviously, the Dodgers were not finished. And part of that maybe is because they did see the Padres as their toughest opponent. And once they got past them, they were able to get past both New York teams while, having some issues along the way and feeling comfortable throwing out bullpen games where you understand, okay, you know what, we probably aren't going to win this one. Now it's a little bit different in the World Series versus in the CS, because in the World Series they were already up 3-0. But I think that it speaks a lot to, and by the way, you say yes, the Dodgers view themselves as underdogs. We can laugh at them for that. But listen, look around the baseball internet. Most people were picking the Padres.
Yep.
That was true, right? And so in that is a commentary on how strong we thought San Diego was. And you could say that makes it hurt more. You could say that makes you feel better about them going into next season. There's a lot of ways you can kind of interpret that. But no, I think that proved to be very accurate, but you also got to give credit to the Dodgers because they didn't stop there. They weren't content with that. They just kept on trucking and ended up looking like the best team in baseball, which is kind of what we said on the pod last night. That's what we said when spring training started, and it was a weird way to get there, but they did end up winning.
Now, and I don't remember last year after the World Series, the hot stove heating up as quickly as it did. I can remember talking to you maybe winter meetings time, and winter meetings were dead, and GM meetings were dead, and we just were all sitting here waiting. I actually liked it yesterday when I was driving home and got a notification that there had already been a trade. Alex Anthopoulos, taking on Griffin Canning and freeing $26 million up by sending Jorge Soler over to the Angels. And I thought to myself, well, I'm jealous because I want our team to be the one making moves. Do you expect this one to be a little bit different this offseason?
Yeah, so I can say I did actually spend a nice chunk of time thinking and talking about the Padres during the World Series as the great AJ Cassavell was sitting a couple seats over from me in the press box. And so, in between, pregame, I was just like, man, like I'm, especially these last couple of days, especially over at Yahoo, we already put out our free agent rankings. Like we've been working on those for a couple of weeks. Like you got to kind of be ready to go as soon as the offseason gets started. So once you start kind of getting your brain into hot stove mood, like absolutely, I'm ready to get going here. And as for what San Diego is going to do, I mean, it is interesting because we know they're going to do something. Now, whether that means adding externally versus focusing on keeping a very, very, very strong team together, whether that's through extensions, whether that is through, bringing back, somebody like Profar, or I guess Tanner Scott, which seems a little bit less likely. All those things are very much in play, but come on, guys. I mean, there are going to be a lot of other teams that a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, they're going to look back and be like saying, wow, we did nothing. And I don't think the Padres are going to be one of those teams.
Good. That makes me feel better.
Talking to Jordan Shusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, and the Rob Manfred during the World Series, we haven't even brought this up on our show, but he did say that they're planning to test the automatic ball strike system, a challenge system, during spring training next year. Now, he said, don't think that means it's going into the regular season yet. They've got some more, kinks to make sure that they, iron out before it becomes to Major League Baseball. But doesn't it seem clear to you, Jordan, that it is coming in some form? And when it does, what kind of impact do you think, like what hidden impacts do you think it's going to have on the game when they get rid of, or kind of get rid of, the umpires calling the balls and strikes?
Yeah, I'm super fascinated by it. I mean, I've been pretty consistent since this has been a talking point for the last couple of years, and since I've seen it in person, that the challenge system is absolutely the future. I don't think, and I also hope we never have a full automated zone. But it's not that I guess I shouldn't say I don't think it'll ever happen, but I do think we're a lot farther away from that. Whereas I think with the success that they've had with the challenge system, I think that they are going to get a lot closer to trying to expedite that process. We saw that in AAA last year, right, where they decided midway through, all right, forget the full zone, like let's just focus on the challenge system and making sure that that is as good as it can be. And I mean, the point that I've made about that is not just about, okay, this is good, now we're getting correct balls and correct strikes, which is of course the point, but the act of challenging in this specific context is genuinely entertaining. I mean, I think that that's something when you think about why did Manfred change anything about the sport, is because he thinks in some cases correctly that fans want quicker games, faster games, shorter games, more balls in play, no more shift. Like all those things are because it is what they think that the fans want more of. And some of those is probably right. Some of those maybe not. But in this case, I think if you just think about it as an entertainment product, watching players challenge these pitches and how quickly that could be a fun thing to actually watch a way that is, I think, different from challenging, safe out calls in the way. Because that's, of course, about getting it correct. I think this is, of course, getting about correct to some degree, but there's also going to be a strategical element to this that I think is going to be really fun.
Is there going to be any better drama than the guy on your team, whoever it may be, that continues to try to challenge it, but he's always wrong? And then the fans are actually mad at him for challenging it.
Good talk fodder for us,
Great
too.
fodder for us.
Oh, he uses his challenges
What is he
way
doing?
too much. What is he doing?
Does he actually know? Could it work against these hitters? Like, buddy, you clearly don't know the strike zone. You have no idea because you're 0 for 14, in the first 12 games of the season.
Totally.
It is, as far as entertainment goes, I never really thought about that. That's actually pretty brilliant, and it makes the game better.
Two things on that, though. One is I think that having talked to catchers about this that have used it, there is going to be still probably a level of exploitation once people learn the zone from a pitching standpoint, right?
Oh, big time.
Because the issue right now is, okay, if you do have full automatic zone, is you can just maybe clip the top with like a high breaking ball, and like it doesn't look like a strike to the eye, but maybe it's clipping it. Now you could still have that dynamic in play because it's fooling the hitters into thinking there's no way that's a strike. That's just one broad thought. But to me, I think it's even more fun to have the opposite of what you guys are describing in terms of the player that's always wrong. Because now we maybe get to see, the Joey Vottos of the world or the Juan Sotos of the world, do they actually know the zone better than everybody else?
Yeah,
now obviously we already have ways to know that because we do have other ways to measure when they're swinging at balls in the zone or out of the zone. Like we have all that. But the notion of a guy just like repeatedly telling the umpire, just keep getting it right on that. Like I love that too.
It's great.
So,
yeah, they're both deadly.
All the parts about it could be really, really fun. And that's why I do think we'll see it probably sooner.
I'll also say I got a lot of good reviews, and I tended to agree. Fox's nearly invisible strike zone box during the World Series, it was there, but it was less obtrusive than the ones I think we were used to in the regular season. I thought it was a very good way to handle that. It would still light up either filled in or
confused me.
ball or strike.
I didn't like it.
I was confused.
You didn't like it. I saw a lot of people who liked it. Jordan, did you like it? Did you get to see a lot of it?
I mean, I saw they have it on in the press box,
Yeah.
but I can't give my full review because I obviously have not sat down watched the whole game. Because that's the thing about the zone is now the TV zone is something that we are just so used to that any slight alterations either makes it you immediately notice and think it's way better, or you're like, oh no, I don't like that. And some people want it to be gone completely, and I hear that argument as well. So I can't give my full review on it, but now I am going to go back and watch this game 5, and I will report back.
Jordan, I want to thank you and Jake for your contributions throughout the season. You added a lot, I think, for us and our Tier 1 audience, and we always appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do this next season and maybe catch up with you during the winter meetings or sometime during the off season as well.
Winter meetings travel is booked, so we would love to hop in there. But
Nice.
Thank you guys. It's been fun all season. And for me and Jake, we really appreciate you guys having us on all season long.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Jordan Shusterman, #1 Leo DeVries fan on Cespedes Family Barbecue, and brought to you each week all season long by Grand Ole Barbecue. Definitely one of the things Ben likes, especially their brisket. It is the best I've ever had.
And Dub J in the chat says, so much for speeding up the games, it's going to slow the games down. It doesn't, actually. It's a really, really quick process that they've been able, and they can fine-tune it and make it even quicker and better. And I want it accurate, man. I want it as accurate. I'm thinking of 5 calls off the top of my head in the World Series. Someone against the Dodgers, someone against the Yankees, but game-changing type calls. Aaron Judge probably struck out on that walk. Gleyber Torres definitely that was not a strike to him with Juan Soto on deck. There's 2 off the top of my head, and you want to get those right in those big moments.
Can I follow up on this when we come back? Because it seems rare in my lifetime that baseball has actually done a lot of things right.
Correct.
Lately.
Correct.
It's almost a surprise.
It almost is a surprise.
But, other sports are starting to take notice, actually, of what baseball is doing. And I want to give baseball some praise here at the end of the season. That's coming up next after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Saw that the game time for the World Series was down a little bit from last year, speeding up the games. Has undoubtedly, Woods, I think, been a good thing for Major League Baseball.
No question, man.
I mean, I get it that some people say, hey, let's not rush people out of there too fast, but I don't know that I have met anyone who has said, boy, I really wish they could go back to those 3.5-hour games with the pitchers taking forever to throw the pitches. I mean, the pitch clock has been one of the greatest developments in baseball in my lifetime, and I think I'm comfortable saying that at this point.
You know, and the old heads that got really mad that they were changing all the rules and leave baseball the same, I think even they've come around because they've said, oh, yeah, the elimination of the shifts and things. This is actually more like the baseball we used to play. It feels more like that game. It feels less true, especially, I mean, if you're a Padres fan and you're an old head, San Diego Padres in 2024, bro, I mean, that's one of the best teams you ever saw. And that's not a three true outcome team, right? Hit, walk, or walk, strikeout, home run. Yeah, no, these guys were putting it in play all the time. They were moving runners. I mean, it was as old school baseball as I think we've seen in forever.
So, and part of the reason that they implemented this was to counteract the very real effect of analytics and smart organizations trying to take advantage of the rules as they were written by using the shifts, by employing, the strategies that they were allowed to do. And if a pitcher knows, hey, if I take 25, 30 seconds between pitches, I'm going to be able to throw harder and longer and get more guys out. Why wouldn't you do that if you were a pitcher? It was simply to their advantage to do so. So you've counteracted some of the things that analytically had been successful for teams. Now, that could be frustrating for a team that's been having success, but everyone's operating under the same playing field. I bring it up because they are now all of a sudden encountering the same challenges in basketball, because it has become very apparent that teams have realized the advantage to shooting three-pointers.
Sure.
The fact that a three-pointer is worth 50% more than a two-point basket. Just because you're another, you can shoot one from 18 feet for 2 points, or you can shoot one from 21 feet for 3 points. It's a no-brainer. I mean, they really should be shooting tons of three-pointers. The Boston Celtics won a championship. The Golden State Warriors won a bunch of championships by being great three-point shooters. It's not necessarily just the best way to play the game all the time is to just jack up three-pointers. And fans are starting to go like, what are we going to do about this? Because this is not the basketball I remember. This is not the basketball I love. And they're starting to try to think of ways in basketball that they can change the game to make it look more like it did back in the day. Now, I'm not saying, bad boys, Pistons, and everything should be a foul. I think they've made good developments in basketball as well. But I think in particular, when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards, who has been compared, at least early in his career, to Michael Jordan in terms of the athleticism and the things that he can do, and then you just see him standing at the three-point line, jacking up threes, you're going, we're missing what could be the greatness of Anthony Edwards because of analytics, and he's just throwing up three-point shots when what about driving to the basket and doing, hang time, spin under the rim, spectacular
Drawing
things?
the
Well,
foul.
that's only worth 2 points.
Right.
And he just stands at the three-point line and, uses his height and just, all right, I'm going to shoot the ball. It's not the most entertaining form of the game necessarily.
Yeah, aesthetically, it's certainly a different look, and they've made certain rule changes to a lot of sports to try to make them more palatable. But you do feel a tipping point with a couple of things in the NBA. That's obviously one of them, and then of course load management has been another one where
which is another analytics thing.
Yeah,
the regular
100%.
season is so long, they know the more we rest our guys, the better they're going to be, especially in the playoffs. So yeah, unless you're going to punish us for resting our guys, we're going to do it as much as we can.
Which they are.
Which they're
punishing
starting
guys.
to do.
I think the Sixers just got fined $100,000 for Joel Embiid, and
They get fined every year.
every year
Or at least they get investigated every year.
It's crazy, man. And I
There's
don't
like a policy in the league. Like if you miss back-to-back primetime games or any primetime, TNT or ESPN game, you're going to get investigated.
But I mean,
to make sure that player.
there's always
actually
the
hurt.
excuse of, but I am legitimately hurt, and it's hard to completely prove a guy is not if that's what they're claiming.
How do you? Yeah, and it's is there a limit? Like, okay, you need Embiid to start. Okay, he'll start. Plays 4 minutes. You take him off and rest him the rest of the game. Is that a workaround, or is there some sort of limit that a guy has to play a certain number of minutes? I know you talked about moving the 3-point lines back, potentially making the two actually a three and
a three worth of 4. I don't think they'll ever do that. Maybe the 3-point line moving back is the next thing.
But then look, Steph could make it from anywhere.
He can. But not everybody can.
Not everybody can.
And those long ones are really spectacular.
Then analytically, it goes the other way.
Then it'll start going the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you combat it. The only way to sometimes save the game is to change the game.
Yeah.
Football has always known that.
Yeah.
Football changes 7 rules every single year. I mean, sometimes they're really noticeable, like the new kickoff thing that I know has had very mixed reviews. I haven't really cared all that much.
No, me neither. I'm not missing
I feel
it.
like there's been some.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think there's been some kickoffs, which is cool. They definitely look like they're not running into each other at 100 miles an hour, which looks really dangerous. So, kind of taking that part out of the game. I mean, I think for the most part, I'm okay with it. I know some people are outrageously mad about it, but you will always get those people. Anytime you change any rules, you're going to get those people. But football's never been afraid to change the rules. Two-point conversions, changing the hash marks, everything, changing the footballs for kickers. Kickers may be the next one that they have to look at. They've gotten so good at kicking, 50, 55. I mean, remember in our lifetime, 63 was like the magic untouchable. Now there's like 60-yarders every week in football. Yeah. They don't even hesitate to kick them anymore because kickers have just gotten so good.
Yeah.
And they may have to change some rules,
narrow it or something. Yeah, that will be insane.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. What does Ben's greatest hits mean?
You'll see.
Okay. Guess I will see when we come back with Ben and Woods on a Friday on San Diego's #1.
Oh, and my wife pulled it off this morning.
Oh, that's a prank.
She got
Finally, it happened.
Yep.
So tell everybody before we go.
Yeah,
we're going to play.
We teased it yesterday, the Kimmel prank with your Halloween candy. We've never done it. Our kids are at a perfect age to, ruin their day.
Kimmel would have parents send in videos, and he would put them all together and do it every year around Halloween. Kids come down the morning after Halloween, and it's, hey guys, hey. Kids just want to let you know, Mommy and I got really hungry last night. We ate all of your candy.
All your candy.
And the meltdowns that ensue.
Yeah, Hannah put a little twist on it. You guys will like.
Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Just enjoying some more of things Ben likes during the break. Had a couple of Smarties candies. You guys have been drinking my squirt that you got me. Hope you like the squirt. Happy to share. I'm happy to share.
Loved it.
Good.
Big fan, actually. It's pretty elite soda.
So I am also a fan of... I'm a fan of you using your children for our content on the show.
Sure, yeah.
I worry about it sometimes,
No.
just, about the future and their future.
They're very...
In the immediate moment, it's always very entertaining.
They are very... they're very loved. They're very safe. They're very appreciated and cared for in our home. They are a constant source of amusement and comedy. They're the two funniest children and I know I'm partial, but... Bro, they lay me out.
I'm more impartial, and I tend to agree with you.
They lay me out. I mean, they're clever. They're funny. Our house is tough. You got to be on all the time. I mean, really. I mean, you got Hannah and I are. It's barb after barb after barb. So your kids get a little bit of that thick skin, and they start giving it back, and it's a delight.
This one, I wasn't sure if we may be going too far.
I wasn't sure either on this one. Paulie convinced me to do it. I'm going to blame him for any problems later in their lives.
I'll wear that.
All right. When we come back after traffic, the audio of Hannah Nancaro Woods. Surprise. Is just Taylor?
Just Taylor. Bo's still asleep.
And making her believe, not that you guys ate all the candy, but that you gave it all to me
and we brought
for my birthday and brought it into work.
That's right.
You know, we already have a bit of friction between
you and Taylor. Yes.
Taylor and myself.
You are not the biggest fan of my youngest.
We'll get to that right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. Got a few things to mention here, guys. Reports of a possible brush fire or encampment fire starting up northbound side of the 5 near Civic Center. Smoke visible from the right shoulder. Also, eastbound King Freeway past Euclid. Got a collision that's been moved over to the right shoulder. The San Diego Clippers are ready for an exciting season at Front Wave Arena. The home opener on November 8th is Bill Walton Night, presented by Front Wave Credit Union. Join the fun as we celebrate Bill Walton and his legacy. You won't want to miss it. Grab your tickets at frontwavearena.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So, Taylor, you thought he'd get up like at 4:30 in the morning, but
Yeah.
even by 6:30, he hadn't gone down and discovered his missing candy yet.
No, he was. He got. Halloween takes a lot out of it. There's a lot of steps. They're out a little bit later. They're out in the dark. It was cold a little bit last night, so they were kind of worn out when they got home. Taylor was upset Halloween was over. He wanted it to go on forever and to continue. He wants to go. He wants to go tonight. So he came in this morning, and my beloved wife Hannah Nancaro Woods. She dropped the hammer on him.
What, baby? Where's the things that you ate? Oh, your candy? Oh, you know how it's Ben's birthday? Ben and Woods' birthday?
Pause.
Dada brought it to give to him for his birthday.
She calls Ben, or he calls Ben and Woods.
Right.
Your dad. Even though his last name
your
is
daddy,
Woods.
I'm Ben and Woods.
Yeah, I'm Dad.
Right.
Dada or Daddy, you are Ben and Woods.
Right.
I didn't know you still wanted anymore.
This little face.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. Dada took it to work for Ben and Woods. Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. There's no more left. Wasn't it yummy last night, though? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you still wanted it. You didn't tell me. And honestly, Dada ate all of those.
He doesn't care.
Nope.
Dada ate all of those, and then he brought yours to go for Ben and Woods for his birthday. I know, baby, but next year's good.
Crocodile tears.
It's
You okay?
Sucking his thumb.
Grabs his baby.
I know, Bunny.
It's like a load in his diaper.
I'm so sorry.
That's it. He handled it pretty well.
Not bad. The faces were heartbreaking.
Ben took a little bit of delight watching that, I think.
Now, has there been a reveal? Has he?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
And Hannah said she told him, and she goes, he didn't really care. He's kind of out of it today. So I think he's on sugar crash from last night.
Downfall, yeah.
Exhausted. So
I want to hear Hannah use that voice with you.
Oh,
like when you
I
thought you
know.
were going to play baseball with Paul, and Hannah's go, "Oh no, I'm sorry, Stephen. That's been canceled today.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be
wash the
staying
garage."
and cleaning out the garage. Paul called and said your tier 1 game was canceled today. So, yeah, we're going to just stay here and get some housework."
But I want to play. I want to play. Hannah's never spoken to me in that loving or kind of a tone in a decade. So it would be jarring in and of itself. Somebody said that's going to be your new screensaver. Taylor with his lip out like this. I want it. Oh, he's such a good boy, dude. Such a good boy. So sweet. Had so much fun last night.
He can actually bring some of my favorite. If you want some of the things that Ben likes,
I'll bring him that bag of brown sugar.
I will donate some of that back to him.
The vanilla.
As a peace offering to Taylor.
Not the sake, though, because I do think he would drink it. So, yeah, we wanted to...
sweet boy.
He's such a sweetheart. So I wanted... obviously, today's Benny... Well, celebrating Ben's birthday today. We won't be celebrating with you over the weekend. You will be at work on your actual birthday, which is never a fun one. That's Sunday.
Happens to people.
It happens. You have to do it. You're a grown man. You're not going to take your birthday off or anything like that. What are the plans this weekend?
So tonight, going out for sushi with the boys.
Ooh.
Tomorrow.
Oh, your boys. So they want to take you to sushi.
Sushi, yeah. We're
Instead
going to sushi.
of, I figured it would be Texas Roadhouse.
No, we're going to go Encinitas Sushi Lounge.
Love Sushi
which is
Lounge.
one of our favorites
Ours
as well.
Too. Ours too.
Plus, they sent me a birthday coupon today. So
Who did?
Sushi Lounge.
Oh, Sushi Lounge.
Yeah.
I thought you meant your boys.
So did I.
Dad,
Yeah,
here's
Sushi Lounge
10%
did.
off for tonight's meal that you're going to pay for. All right.
I always save all my birthday coupons.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rubio's. Got me a buy one, get one free birthday offer as well. Anyone else wants to send me a birthday coupon, I'm more than happy to accept.
I got a coupon for you for free foot rub from me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, whenever you're ready. Just cash it in. Use that ticket.
Thinking about it.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Shelly and I are going out to a little a nicer dinner in La Jolla. Going to go to the Whaling Bar.
Ooh.
And then on
So
Sunday.
what are you going to eat? Whale?
No, it's more of a nautical theme.
Can't
it's in
eat-
the La Valencia Hotel. They closed
can't
for a while. They just
eat
reopened.
whale, right?
I mean, if you're like an Inuit, I think you can, but I don't think it's particularly appetizing
I'll
for
have the whale.
for an American palate, perhaps. And I think somewhat endangered and non-PC to eat whale.
Why did there used to be whalers?
Well, they use the
use the
blubber
blubber?
for a lot of, tallows and stuff that you would make, I would assume,
Okay.
Whale products that they would use.
Okay.
Hopefully that we don't have a lot of whaling still going on, but I'm sure in some
They use
parts
the
of the
fat
world
for
it still
oil,
goes on.
they said, yeah.
And then Sunday, my mom called in earlier. She wanted to do lunch before I go to work, so
All right,
that's
so let
kind
me
of
ask
my
you,
plan
let me
this
ask you
weekend.
this question.
Yeah.
Be honest. So you're looking down the barrel of 3 meals out, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Better to just consolidate, in your opinion, just one, maybe you do one big meal instead of 3 separate meals.
No, I like meals out. I'm not quite as much of a homebody as you
All
are,
right.
so I'm happy to get 3 separate opportunities to have a little bit of a dine out celebration.
Because the thought of having to go to dinner, that's the way
I
my
know.
mind,
For you it
my
is.
mind works like this. If you go, hey, we got dinner Friday with this, and I go, I don't want to go to dinner or lunch 3 days in a row. I don't want to. Can we do 1? Maybe 2. 3
Right.
is.
I don't
is
mind. No,
overkill.
I don't,
You
I,
like
don't, I don't mind at all. I like it.
All right.
So
that's why we're wired different.
yeah, not bad.
But we also wanted to celebrate you today, Benny, and with a couple of moments that really encapsulate, who you are, what you mean to us, what you mean to the show, our audience. You are a true legend and a gem, and we couldn't do what we do without you, your contributions, and Pauline and I picked a couple moments that have always made us laugh and smile.
Yeah, I was trying to walk the fine line. A lot of these clips you hear on Thursdays, Throwback Thursdays, so I was trying to switch it up. I went in the way back machine. I was
Love the
trying
way
to
back
find
machine.
some defining moments where, like when this show started, we probably were way too much on the traditional sports talk side of things. It wasn't comfortable. But there were some moments where
I was very comfortable. Now I'm
he's
not
uncomfortable.
comfortable. I used to be comfortable.
I thought the first time we learned that Ben spoke Spanish was pretty funny. And this was at the old station where the legal ID that you would hear at the top of every hour was in Spanish.
And if you're a longtime Mighty 1090 listener, you know we're XCPRS, where I've got an X transmitter in Mexico, which means the Mexican government owns an hour of our station each week.
Right.
And at 10 o'clock on Sundays, they take over. And it's like a Spanish language variety hour with some politics, with some recipes and features. I don't understand it because it's in Spanish.
Yeah.
Just
here.
relax.
It's not
We'll
going
be back in an hour. Every week they take over the airwaves for 1 hour. XCPRS. That's, I could do this, the call letters
Hang
in
on,
Spanish.
can we compare them real quick?
No.
Yeah,
well,
let's
you want me to
compare.
do it for real? I'll do it for real. Hang on. One.
Okay, do the deep voice.
XCPRS-AM. Baja California, Mexico.
Thank you, Jesus, for this moment. Thank you so much for this moment.
Listen
to
for a
Paul.
long time.
Listen to Paul. AKA.
It like broke me.
Yeah.
Because
You got Paul.
it was Ben doing something other than, all right, let's break down Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a very talented guy. And I spotted that in you.
I kind of cut my teeth in this business, though, in a very traditional setting, in that you don't really break character. You are the sports talk host. You don't really incorporate personal anecdotes or, stories or anything that's not sports takes and analysis and taking phone calls and giving scores. That's just the way you did it. And you didn't, if you made a mistake, as everybody does, you just plow right through it and you go like, you ignore it like it didn't happen and you just keep going because you're a professional broadcaster, and that's how a professional broadcaster is supposed to be on the radio.
Well, the exact opposite of traditional sports talk radio would be, and people in the chat have already been clamoring for, Ben reads raps.
Yeah, 100%.
And look, I think we played this a couple of months ago. I'll play it every week if we had to. Ben rapping to Ice Cube his own lyrics back in 2019 when we first came over to 97.3 The Fan.
Before you play this, I will say, even back then, I mean, I knew Ice Cube was kind of a big deal. If I know then what I do now, I don't think I would have been able to do it.
Right.
I think there was a bit of a naivety to me.
Yeah.
Like, I listened to this, and I, in hindsight, and I go, I can't believe anyone on earth would do this with Ice Cube actually on the phone. So it almost scares me when we
And I thought it would be such an honor for all of us. Can he rap for you, and then you give us your honest feedback?
Yeah, I will.
All right,
Definitely.
here we
Go
go.
for it.
Let's get it going.
Break 'em. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. No barking from the dog, no smog. And Mama cooked a breakfast with no hog. Damn. I got my grub on, but didn't pig out. Finally got a call from a girl I want to dig out. What's up? Hooked it up for later as I hit the dough, thinking that I will live another 24 days.
Oh, my God.
Get me on the court, and I'm trouble. Last week, it's around and got a triple-double. Freaking ins every way like MJ. I can't believe today was a good day.
Oh, my God, it's amazing.
It's great rhyming structure. It really is good stuff. But
Cube, all right, just, Ben, quiet for a second. I want to get the honest feedback from the author of that song, Ice Cube.
Lord have mercy. I've never had my lyrics butchered. Yeah. Method Man. Now we got Mayonnaise Man.
And that day, a legend was born. 49 years ago on Sunday, a legend was born. But on that day, a legend was cemented. Your legacy. Mayonnaise Man from Ice Cube himself. What a moment that was.
I am kind of a white bread, mayonnaise-y kind of guy. I don't really like mayonnaise, but I certainly see the comparison. Thank you, Cube.
That was so
Hope you're doing well out there.
Yeah, me too. Hope he's enjoying that Dodgers World Championship. You know he is.
True he is.
Yeah.
I can be happy for him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We'll come back. Final hour of the week, including a Reindl Report. Bob Costas in the news yesterday. That ahead here on 97.3 The Fan.
Officially dead after you rapped Ice Cube's song to him. And
cause of death, Mayonnaise Man.
Mayonnaise Man. And I think, I don't know that I've heard a great hip-hop song since that actually happened. So you might have killed hip-hop that day right here in the 97.3 The Fan studio.
Well, I'm sorry, hip-hop.
I would like to have...
Didn't mean to.
I would like to have Ice Cube back on at some point. See if he remembers that.
Make that happen.
And then do it again.
So we had him on as part of the promotion for the Big Three League, right?
It was
the
so cool
3-on-3
to talk.
basketball.
It was just the coolest thing to talk to him. I mean, it was just like, he was so cool. And chatting with him, I grew up listening to NWA. I loved his solo stuff. Then he became an actor. Friday's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it was wild. That was one I don't really get starstruck much anymore. That's one where we had him on where I was legit nervous. Like, I was, because it was such a big name.
You know what? I had to look it up just to confirm. I remember about that interview. It was pitched to us as having Ice Cube on for the Big Three, the start of the Big Three. But it was not just him. It was him and Nancy Lieberman, former player and coach. She was part of the Big Three as well. So she was also on the phone. And I feel bad because we really just wanted to, have Ben rap to Ice Cube the whole time.
Let's be honest, when PR firms do that kind of stuff,
she knows.
Well,
Nancy Lieberman's great.
She's great.
She's a legend in the game and absolutely great.
She is fantastic.
But when you put them hey, do you want to book Ice Cube or Nancy Lieberman?
You put it together, and it's like, you know who you want to talk to. We did that book panel one time. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We did a book panel, and it was Scott Miller, who we love. Scott Miller had a book out, and it was another random, was it a man or a woman that had a book? I think it was a woman.
Yeah, I think so.
She had a book out. I can't remember what it was. But in the middle was Bill Walton. And I thought to myself, this would be my luck. I write a book, and Woods, you're on the panel, and it's like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill. And it's like, oh, cool. I'm going to roll with these guys up to a book panel, and no one's going to ask me a thing. And guess what? For good reason. Bill Walton took it was an hour, and he talked for 58 of the 60 minutes. And poor Scott Miller's sitting there. Ben's moderating it, and Scott Miller's sitting there.
The worst
waiting.
job in America was trying to moderate a panel that involved Bill Walton.
You can't do
rest
it.
in
Man.
peace, Bill.
Yeah, rest in peace.
You knew that too, though.
Oh yeah. It was just
shout out to his family.
It was just one of those things where you're like, I drew the short straw. I can't promote my book at all, and also nobody wants to hear from me because Bill Walton's here. So I felt bad for Nancy Lieberman, but yeah, we just wanted to talk to Q. It's just, he was just such a top tier entertainer, man, multifaceted, the whole thing. And that's one of those interviews. People ask me all the time, like, what were your favorite interviews you've ever done? Did you ever get nervous? I'm like, that one I was really hyped for.
And that was like a week in.
Yeah.
Being here at the Fan.
That's right.
We started here, and I think it was like that Friday.
That Friday. It was like
we probably started on Monday. It was that Friday. Yeah. Like, hey, by the way, you guys got Ice Cube on the show.
Downhill ever since. Sorry, Adam. But holy cow, that was a great moment. And to celebrate the legend that is Ben Higgins. Not everybody has the stones to do that. And I put you on the spot. You had no idea that was coming. None. And and you did it. And you knocked it out of the park. It was rad.
Just kind of like took a deep breath.
And just went for it.
Just get through it, basically.
And him delivering the Mayonnaise Man line is just so clutch. Just so good.
That's why he's a great entertainer.
That's right.
Paulie,
exactly
would you entertain us for a few minutes here?
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. We will start in Major League Baseball. Some news yesterday. Bob Costas, one of the greatest to ever step behind a microphone. He is retiring from doing play-by-play for Major League Baseball after 42 years. Now,
he got bullied, man.
I thought he had already retired, and he came back just to do a couple of playoff games over the last few years.
Well, he wasn't like full-time.
He wasn't full-time when that happened. But 42 years behind the mic, calling baseball games, and I saw a lot of
got bullied.
clips.
He got bullied
A lot
into
of
it.
people not happy with him the last couple of years, and
he got raked over the coals.
Even if it was a bad clip or something, like just a bad moment that gets isolated, you're like, it's Bob Costas, man. Come on.
Yeah,
you want to talk about iconic voices that have been on our show? Bob Costas, absolutely
another
one
one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. The Yankee fans were merciless to Bob Costas when he was calling their series, and
Now his contract was up. He was doing MLB Network games and then TBS Sports. So he did the ALDS series between the Yankees and the Royals. His contract with TBS expired at the end of the season, and he said, "I'm out."
He got worked. It's the fear of any broadcaster, I think, to like maybe age out a little bit, and they didn't really understand his references anymore. I grew up listening to it, so of course it's nostalgia for me. I'm a huge nostalgia guy, and I'm sure you are as well. And it would kind of bum me out to see, and I hate to think that Bob Costas, of all people, no one's infallible to criticism, certainly, but Bob Costas, was bullied out of doing what he was really great at.
It is the dilemma because I love listening to Bob Costas.
Yeah.
Is he as good as he once was? No. I mean,
he's as good once as he'll ever be, though, Ben.
Thank you. That's a good country song. You never get the country ones right in Take on Woods, but you know that one. Al Michaels is hearing it a little bit.
He is
as well.
He is.
I mean,
That's a weird partnership.
Do you believe in miracles, Al Michaels from 1980
No,
anymore? No,
he's
it's
not.
44 years later.
Him and Kirk Herbstreit calling Thursday night NFL games is just weird.
Dick Enberg got it a
He
lot,
did.
from Padres fans near the
Yep.
end of his career. Was he, as great as he was? Uncle Teddy, had to face at the end. Jerry Coleman called games until the end of his life. But
so do you get it
now?
now? Do you get it?
You don't want to.
Do you get it
I
now?
get that. But at the same time, I was happy listening to every single one of them until the very last broadcasts.
It's tough.
So
man. Tough to see.
There is. I mean, how much do you have to do to be a good play-by-play broadcaster, especially on television? The pictures are telling the story. Just the fact that he's there, just the fact that Dick Enberg was there was cool. Bob Costas is there. Al Michaels is there.
I mean, Dick
Uncle
Enberg-
Teddy was there. It just is cool.
Dick Enberg delivered one of the greatest lines in Padres history. We can't play it, I don't think.
Can't
but
even really describe it.
Can't even
If
really
you know,
describe
you know.
it. But if you know, you know. Ben, do you want to tell everybody?
Was it the one that involved a cat reference? Yeah.
A plump. cat. Satan's Blowfish says it's okay to move on from broadcasters and let the next generation have theirs. I also agree with that.
That's fine because we never have Jesse, who's fantastic as well, and you do want to make chances for newcomers.
But like Guy says here, he says
Bob Costas walked so that Joe Davis could puke.
Yeah, exactly. Guy says if Joe Davis and John Smoltz are the future of baseball announcing, I'll just learn to watch it with the volume down. I'm with you, 100%. Yeah. Freaking word. The funny thing is it watching the playoffs and the World Series. I don't like Joe Davis. I just don't like his delivery. It's weird to me. But by the end of the series, I was like, more Joe Davis, less John Smoltz. More Joe Davis, less John Smoltz. Smoltz was unbearable. He was unbearable. By the end of it, well, he threw a slider there, and what you do with a slider is you put your two fingers here, and then you want to spin it, puts a little torque on the elbow, and I'm like, oh my God, bro, please let us watch the game. I'm begging you. So yeah, it sucks that's the future.
See, I'd be happy to listen to Uncle Teddy today. Now he walked away. Obviously, he was had his eyes, and that's part of the job is to be able to see the baseball and what's going on. But I'd always be happy to listen to someone like that, like all those other ones that we talked about.
I miss Joe Buck calling baseball. I really do.
Yeah.
Joe Buck was great calling baseball.
I do too.
He's fantastic.
All right, we'll move on to a little golf, kind of, for Ben on his birthday.
Oh,
here.
happy birthday, buddy.
Not going to get a ton of golf in the Reindl Report, but we will today. So TNT and Max, they do the match. At least every year, usually around Thanksgiving, sometimes twice a year, and it's usually, Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers versus Phil Mickelson
They
and
must
Steph
make
Curry.
money because they keep doing it.
Let me guess.
Even for me, it's a lot, though. Like, I don't know that I need to see this every time.
Well, before you guess, let me just tell you, it's called the Match Superstars.
Superstars. Okay, so Jelly Roll and Morgan Wallen against the
I'm
Rizzler.
not okay.
Against the Rizzler and Big Justice. Because that's where we're going as a society.
Baby Gronk.
I had to have my son explain the Rizzler to me.
Can your son call in and explain to me?
I still don't quite get it.
Boom!
It's something to do with Costco guys, and then
It's like child abuse.
I
do not support it. We don't air their clips. I don't want to give them any more light than they are already getting because it's like child abuse to shove chicken bakes down this kid's throat.
Yeah. You think I'm mean to Taylor for doing a prank on him this morning? How about this? You know what I'm not doing? I'm not taking him to Costco and being like, eat this, eat it. No, now say it like this.
Then again, now this kid's going to the World Series.
Yeah,
and,
of course. What did I say?
Living a pretty good life.
Dude,
It's the way our society is heading. You used to make talented people famous. Like people with talent got famous. Now they're like,
The exploitation of your kids for money and fame on
Yeah,
TikTok
it's
now
crazy.
is beyond absurd to me. The dad in those videos that you see, bro, I saw this video that was going around a while back. It was like outtakes of him trying to film a TikTok, and his child would say something. He's like, "No, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Do it like this.
Do it like this.
Say it like this. No, I'm supposed to go, not you." And I'm like,
it's amazing.
God, this is awful. But I digress. We'll go back.
So it's
to
not the
match.
Rizzler,
No.
Big Justice against Jelly Roll and Morgan Wallen. Because that I would watch.
On the golf course.
On the golf course. I'm not okay.
No, this edition
the
of
bunker.
the match, it's going to take place in Florida, West Palm Beach, Breakers Country Club, and it's going to be the week before Thanksgiving, Thursday and Friday, a two-parter, and it's including Bill Murray, Mark Wahlberg, Charles Barkley, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Phelps, Ken Griffey Jr., Blake Griffin. So mostly athletes, an actor, a singer, and then Nate Bargatze, the comedian.
I like Nate. Funny.
And they've already got the pairing. So it'll be Bill Murray and Wayne Gretzky taking on Charles Barkley and Ken Griffey Jr.
All right, the banter between Bill Murray and Charles Barkley has a chance to be elite.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, and then two of the best in their sports, in Gretzky and Griffey.
Yeah.
So it's the format is 2 matches of 2v2 scramble for the quarterfinals, and then the other matchup is Mark Wahlberg and Michael Phelps taking on Blake Griffin and Nate Bargatze.
Mark Wahlberg.
I actually have
and
no
Michael
interest in
Phelps.
those pairings at all.
So we're just dropping golfers from this entirely now.
Yeah, there's no golf.
no more golfers in the matches.
Correct.
Then they'll have a semifinal and a finals round under individual match play, blah, blah, blah. The winner will walk away with a $1 million prize. Ernie Johnson is returning to host of this one. And, coming up here in just a few weeks. Blake Griffin and Nate Bargatze versus Michael Phelps and Mark Wahlberg. No thanks. I'll watch I would, if I had to watch any of it.
Bill Murray and Barkley.
Murray and Gretzky versus Barkley and Griffey.
Isn't the shtick, though, isn't it? Like, we get it. Right?
We do.
It's
Maybe instead of golf, we start expanding to other matches.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Cornhole.
Water polo.
Yeah. Darts.
All right. And then finally, no funny story here, but funny audio. This is just going back in the Wayback Machine. Ben's birthday. I think it might be the most goated moment in show history anytime we can break Ben. And so we're going back just over 4 years ago now. This was October 28th, 2020, talking about the COVID World Series, the fake World Series. Remember what happened with our old pal Blake Snell? Got pulled out of the game.
Yeah.
And, well, Ben delivered this.
I teased, though, the tweet of the baseball season. Now, you mentioned Noah Syndergaard. He sent a good one. He said, so who gets to pull the manager?
That's it.
And that made the rounds. But it wasn't the tweet that I thought was the best one. That came from some guy named, you see this, John Wags 18. Says, Justin Turner tested positive and probably spread it to Kevin Cash, who lost his sense of smell.
Ready to get out of here?
Sense of smell.
Still got 2 more hours to go.
Because, COVID.
Yep, I remember.
I am so jealous that I didn't think of that.
Not
Look
even
at this guy.
Close
Look
to
at
done.
Sense of smell.
Oh my, I've never seen this.
I'm sorry, that is every time I read
Holy hell.
Let him go. He snotted that day. Snot. I think he drooled. Somebody has a picture of the drool coming out of his mouth.
You don't think it's as funny as I do? His sense of smell.
As if we didn't get the joke.
Yeah, it's like, you morons don't get it? This is the greatest radio we've ever done.
Really
That
was.
break right there, I think, will live in infamy. Sure did, man.
Oh,
4
man.
years later. No, I don't think that's funny.
The sense of smell.
I really think that was the first. We're like, okay, we have something
There's
here.
something here.
Breaking Ben.
It's been a while. I can't force it.
You can't
it
fake
just
it.
happens.
Yeah.
And it happens randomly.
It damn near happened earlier today.
I almost accidentally broke myself earlier today with the comments I made to you two.
About Squirt.
I almost broke myself. And I didn't do that on purpose.
What'd you say?
What exactly did I
Can't
say?
remember.
Did you pull it?
Woods and Paul drank
all my
squirt.
He said he didn't mean to.
It didn't.
Church giggles, somebody said. Yeah. Once you start
You
doing
can't-
it.
You can't stop.
Yeah, he said, you guys love my squirt. Yes.
Every drop.
Every. I was drinking some of your squirt, and it started to run down my chin. And I had to clean up a little bit.
No, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good.
Legendary.
Speaking of legendary, we do have a Ben's sexy Super Saturday college football lineup.
I think that's legendary in your own mind, but
And
I'd say.
And a pretty close to impossible task for San Diego State tonight on the blue turf. We'll get to that after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right. Tough job for the Aztecs tonight, facing 15th ranked Boise State.
Big spread.
Big spread.
Big spread.
I would say the over-under on rushing yards for Boise State running back Ashton Genty is an interesting one as well. I didn't realize this. I was looking it up yesterday because I did a short piece on it on Channel 10. He is on pace. He's got, I think, 1,376 rushing yards. He's on pace to break the very long-standing single-season NCAA record held by Barry Sanders, 1988, Oklahoma State. Now, he'd have to keep that pace up, and it's a pretty hard pace to keep up all season long. But he had over 200 yards against the Aztecs last year at Snapdragon Stadium. It was kind of his coming-out game, mostly by just breaking tons of tackles. The guy does not go down. He's a great running back, and you can't get one guy, two guys. You got to get three guys at least to bring him down. And he is now, I believe, the odds-on betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy.
Wow.
I don't know that I take that bet. Somehow I feel like in the end the Heisman voters will find a bigger conference quarterback, someone to give it to. But at the moment, on the betting odds, it's this guy who the Aztecs are facing tonight in Ashton Genty. And by the way, both teams are undefeated in at least conference play in the Mountain West. So this is a battle for first place as well in the conference. Now, the stakes are much, much higher for Boise State. At the moment, they are currently projected in the field of the college football playoff. I know they're ranked 15th, but they're the top-ranked non-Power 4 school, which would grant them that automatic berth. They can't afford to slip up, though, if they want to hold on to that spot and get into the field of 12 at the end of the year. What's the current point spread?
23.5.
23.5. Now, the Aztecs were two
They
touchdown dogs last week, and they had a 12-point lead in the fourth
no, they
quarter.
were 16.5.
16 by the end, and they had a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, they've been
Did not work
improving,
out.
no doubt about it. Have they improved enough to make this a game tonight? That seems like a stretch, especially on a short week on the road at Boise, blue turf. This is going to be the toughest one of the season for San Diego State.
Nice to have a something to flip to tonight on a Friday night. No more baseball, a little college football action, local college football action.
It's a 5 o'clock kickoff on FS1, so it's not even a 7 o'clock game where you're going, I cannot stay awake
I'm
for
not
the
staying
end of
awake.
this one on a Friday. You can actually stay up for this one tonight.
Who do you like there, though? Do you think 23.5 is it's such a big number? And again, that you got to have some confidence the way you played the Cougars.
I lean. I mean, with that spread,
You lean
I
the
can
Aztecs?
certainly see the Aztecs losing 42-21. And that's, by the way, that would be a cover.
That would be a cover.
If they lost 42-21. It's not that hard to stay within 23. Then again, you could also lose 45-17, and then it's one that I wouldn't bet on.
Yeah,
either
too
way,
much.
I just wouldn't bet on this one. Tomorrow, if you want to look ahead, my super sexy Saturday college football lineup is not all that sexy. There's really just one terrific game tomorrow. It's the first game of the day, 9 a.m. on Fox. Number 4, Ohio State at number 3, Penn State. Undefeated Nittany Lions, the one-loss Buckeyes. But even though Penn State is at home, and even though they're undefeated, I don't think anyone really thinks they're going to win this game. Penn State is that school that is always in the rankings, that always beats up on the lesser opponents. But when they finally have to go up against someone good, like an Ohio State or a Michigan, just feels like they always fall short.
Yeah.
Will they change the narrative tomorrow? They'll have all the attention of the world. The Fox, I assume the ESPN game day crew will be there as well in the morning. I didn't see that officially, but that would make a lot of sense. It really is the one major game of the day tomorrow in college football.
That's it.
Yeah, Buckeyes, Squirrely says, have not looked so good. They have not. They've been not impressive. They barely won their game last week. They already have a loss. Penn State is undefeated. Yet at the same time, I don't know, just my instincts go, you got to prove it to me that you can actually win one of these big games if you're Penn State.
And they got there's some name matchups, certainly Oregon at Michigan. Michigan is a tough place to play. I know that they're not great this year. Florida and Georgia is, traditionally a couple of big name programs.
Yeah, it's just Florida's, they've
not
just been
good.
so bad. I picked, oh, by the way, in the chat, the question is mood is choosing Woods violence. He says, you mean Penn State is Notre Dame?
Relax, buddy. Okay, we don't pretend to be anything. We know
Notre Dame actually won their big game so far.
They
this
have
year.
won their big games. They lost their
easier
game.
I picked 12:30, the CBS game, which is a number 1 Oregon at Michigan, but Michigan's not Michigan. They're unranked.
Still
it's
Ann Arbor.
Tough to go. It's on the
14.5,
road.
yeah.
It's I assume Oregon's going to win that game, but they're all dangerous, especially on the road. And then at 4:30, I didn't like any of the games, so I just thought this was funny. USC is playing at Washington. It's on Big Ten Network because, well, it's a Big Ten game.
Big Ten game.
USC at Washington on the Big Ten Network because neither team is ranked and it didn't rate like national network coverage, so they've been farmed out to the Big Ten Network because, again, somehow in this world of college football, USC Washington is a Big Ten game. That would have been surprising to Ben of
25-year-old Ben.
45.
45-year-old
Ben
Ben
actually would have been
very
pretty surprised. This is a Big Ten matchup on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, this segment doesn't do much for me because I literally don't get to watch college football anymore at all, really ever. I can watch tonight's game.
Youth sports just occupies all your Saturdays.
It's invading my soul. So listen to this.
You've got like another decade plus of it.
Easily.
Too.
We have a soccer match tomorrow at, I believe, 9 a.m. Then Bo has his, you guys ready for this? His basketball assessment
Ooh.
Basketball Bo.
We used to call them tryouts.
Yeah, they're already on a team, and now the coach is just going to assess what he has. I don't think they do
you can't
tryouts.
cut. You're not going to be cut.
Cut him.
I get it.
So today, when he gets home from school, guess what he wants to do? Practice basketball. So Basketball Woods will be out with Basketball Bo, getting him ready for his basketball assessment tomorrow.
Here's
like
the
me,
thing.
he's asking me to help get him ready.
Here's the thing with basketball. He doesn't need you as much to practice basketball. Like in
Correct.
baseball, he needs you to,
me.
hit him fungos, to throw him batting practice. There's a lot of work for the dad or the mom to help your son or daughter play baseball or softball.
Football's another one. Need somebody
you need
there.
someone to throw to, throw back. Basketball, you
You're
can
solo.
practice on your own. It's
Yep.
solo. You can dribble. You can set up some cones to dribble around.
Yep.
You got the hoop. You can shoot free throws. You don't need dad or mom. It's an individually motivated sport.
Yes.
Which is tough for some, especially kids to do, and even adults to do sometimes. But you don't need dad to come out. Hey, dad, can you come out and throw me some BP?
Right.
No, but you can go out and shoot baskets all you want.
I bought him a net that he can set up in the yard when I'm not there that he can throw balls into, and he's used it a few times. But he would much rather have me out there. But he doesn't want me to coach him while we're out there. So just let him do what he wants, but be there to throw and do everything else.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So I will be. That's where I will be all day tomorrow, and then Dia de los Deftones after that with him. It's a long day. Followed by 2 baseball games on Sunday. So yeah, we're trying to burn him out as quickly as possible. I feel like is what we're doing.
All right, final segment. I want to jump back into some Padres talk if you don't have any more birthday celebrations planned for me. Keith Law came out with his list of free agents, and I was surprised. It's very different than some of the other ones that we've seen, the rankings of free agents, including a Padre in the top 10 that kind of blew my mind. So we can talk about a little bit of that when we come back. Final segment.
Delilah's on her way in. She'll be here any minute, so just brace for that.
Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You're blushing again.
Before we do anything else, I want to thank both of you for making this a very special day for me.
Happy birthday,
You guys are
buddy.
good at it, and I appreciate it, and I am lucky to get to host a radio show
We're
with
good
both
at
of
it
you.
when we remember.
Yeah,
That's true.
When we remember that it's your birthday, we're good at it.
I also enjoyed last year when you forgot. That was epic for me as well.
It is one of those things where you're like, now I can lord this over them forever. It was one of the worst days of my life, the day after we forgot your birthday.
And I wasn't hurt in the least bit.
I don't believe you.
I really wasn't. I wasn't hurt in the least bit by it.
Paulie, what do you think?
About
him saying that he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I would be
like.
hurt.
I think he
I
enjoyed.
really wasn't.
I think you nailed it. Like he was hurt, and
also enjoyed.
He enjoyed being able to just
Sadistically.
hold that over us
Yeah.
and know. I mean, did we never drop balls like that?
Never.
I think I kind of dread. I don't look forward to my birthday, and especially like the birthday show. I dread it a little bit because it's not my personality to be the center of attention.
Sure it is.
I get
You
that.
know me.
Sure. Well, you're on television. You're on the radio. I would say, as a matter of fact.
What are you trying to say, Woods?
I am
that
saying
I
that-
actually am a glory hog.
I'm saying that your hog is glorious, but I am saying that you say you don't like the spotlight, yet you live in the spotlight.
Yet every choice that I've made has put me there.
100%.
It is weird.
It is odd.
How much I don't like the spotlight,
Yeah.
yet continue to thrust myself into it.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
understand your skepticism at least.
Exactly.
All right. Which Padres player is Keith Law of The Athletic very high on going into free agency? Get to that after our last check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, we're wrapping up our first day of November morning commute on a pretty good note here. There is one problem in the North County crash clearing stage on northbound side of the 15, just past Rainbow Valley. Oh, and a reminder, they're still doing some cleanup from yesterday's 37-acre brush fire in the college area. So you will still find Fairmont closed between the 8 and Montezuma closed between Fairmont and Colwood. So give yourself extra time if you normally head through that area. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Keith Law ranked his top 50 free agents this baseball offseason, and there are 3 Padres on the list. And if I had to guess which one would be the highest on the rankings, my mind would immediately go to Tanner Scott. Left-handed reliever, touches 100 miles an hour,
Filthy.
expected to break the bank, get his big contract this offseason. So when I saw in this rankings list that he had Tanner Scott as his 41st free agent out of 50.
Wow.
Whereas he has another Padre at number 9 on the list That was pretty shocking to me. I would have thought a complete reversal of these two. That Tanner Scott could be a fringe top 10 free agent this offseason, and the guy that he had at number 9 might be near the bottom of the 50. But he actually has Jurickson Profar as one of his top 10 free agents of this offseason. And his analysis of Jurickson, I thought, was very interesting. Obviously points out his bounce back season and 4.3 FWAR, but also acknowledges, hey, have not seen a lot of this from Jurickson throughout his career, so there's good reason to be skeptical. But says Profar began hitting the ball harder than ever in 2024, posted the lowest chase rate of his career. He took his walks, and when pitchers came in the zone, he took his hacks. He'll turn 32 in February, and he battled some tendonitis in his knee, although he played 158 games. He may not reach his 4-win peak again, but despite the one-year nature of the breakout, everything he did in 2024 looks sustainable, and he could be a 3-win player for several more years. He has him ahead of Teoscar Hernandez on his free agent list, who's at number 10. Jurickson Profar, at least in one intelligent writer's opinion, doesn't mean he's right, but in his opinion, a top 10 free agent on the market this offseason.
He's number 1 as far as tough to predict. Like, will he how to handle the contract and all of that.
It's what makes it so difficult to figure out what he's worth.
The only outfielder ahead of him, of course, is Juan Soto, at number 1. Yeah. That's not a surprise. But he's he has him as the second best outfielder on the market right now in free agency. That changes a little bit in terms of my perception of like the price and what it's going to take maybe to sign Jurickson. If doesn't mean every team feels this way. In fact, I'd be shocked if they all did. You don't need every team to feel that way about you. If you can get 2 or 3 teams to feel that way about you, you can make a lot of money in free agency.
I had heard also the Phillies are potentially interested in a Jurickson Profar as well. So, yeah.
I know Phillies fans have been blogging about it this week, that he would fit the bill. I mean, they're not all that happy with Brandon Marsh and some of the guys they had in the outfield this year, and they think Jurickson would be an upgrade, especially in terms of on-base percentage.
Sure.
Something they're looking for.
Yeah, you need a guy like that can get on base. Satan's Blowfish, great point as usual. He said, we'll see. Profar stayed ahead of the adjustment game until he went down with injuries. The injuries did start to nag at him a little bit, and he did attribute some of the injury to the success that he was having. I've never hit this many doubles. I've never had to run this much.
You can use that as a knock against him, but you can also say, now that he's gone through an entire season, he'll be better equipped next year to not have that, drop off at the end of the year. You can make the argument with Jurickson. You can make the argument pretty convincingly either way.
Yeah,
that he's not worth a huge investment because of the track record, the age, the mileage, the fact that he's never really been a multiple-year full-time starter for any team. But I think you can also make those all into positives. You can go, doesn't have as many miles on his legs as a normal guy who's been in the league for 10 years with 10 years of service time.
Yeah.
And the numbers were there. The numbers behind the numbers were there for Jurickson this year. He wasn't just a BABIP, machine that was blooping in balls. He was hitting the ball hard, career highs in home runs. He had tons of line drives, and he still walks. Yeah. He hasn't given up that ability to draw a walk as well. There's a lot of valuable things about Jurickson Profar.
It's just going to be the most fascinating exercise to see what he commands and what he, in his mind, what does he think he's worth? Because if I were him, if I were in his shoes, I would think that I would command a lot of money, and that's what I would be looking for, because you can't guarantee at 32 years old in February, you're not signing nobody's signing to an 8 year deal. You want to make some money in this, what could be your last contract ish, right? Unless you do a series of 1 year deals and things like that. But I think for Jurickson, is he Jurickson Profar if he's not playing here? Is he still Jurickson Profar in Philly? Don't know.
Dominic suggests that Jurickson would fit in well with Philly with that, feisty, fiery personality. Could be a favorite.
They would love it.
Of Phillies fans in Philadelphia. So I don't know what the market for Jurickson Profar is going to develop, but there's at least some opinions out there that it could be pretty good. The other Padre on Keith's list, also very high, has Ha-Seong Kim at number 11. On his list, and goes through obviously
Profar at 9, Kim at 11,
and Scott at 41. Really not what I expected. This is why a very different list than some of the other ones that I've seen.
Must not value relievers very much. I'm looking for
Which is that's an analytics type thing.
Sure.
That relievers tend to have more fluctuation in their performance from year to year. So they're very valuable when they're pitching well. No one denies that. It's just projecting them to do it again the next year sometimes can be a kind of a fool's errand. Like, oh yeah, this guy was great. He had a 2.6 ERA. We'll sign up for that right now. 5 ERA, the next year. We see that all the time with relievers, and then they bounce right back again the year after that. With Kim, he does acknowledge both the injury and the options. Says a healthy Kim would be in line for a huge deal, maybe 6 years, $30 million per year, given the paucity of shortstops on the market this winter. But if he's really going to miss half of the 2025 season, perhaps he should sign a make-good deal somewhere for a year to re-enter the market next autumn.
Just pick up his $7.5 million option here and come play shortstop for one more year and build your value.
And again, we'll know.
That I do in a second.
We should know on Monday which way both the Padres and Ha-Seong Kim go with that decision. I would say the likelihood is that he will not be back for the Padres on that option deal. I think the Padres probably say yes. Kim probably says no, but there's also a chance the Padres say no. If they want to really devote their resources elsewhere and don't think he's going to be healthy. There's no reason to pay a guy for 1 year who's not going to be healthy.
That is such a tough spot to be in if you're Ha-Seong Kim.
It is.
Because you're not going to be there all year.
Right.
And you have no idea what your game is going to be like when you do come back and call it
No
May
spring
or
training with your new
June.
team.
Tough to turn down 7.5, right? Guaranteed.
I think that's the argument for Kim to stay.
7.
Is knowing, hey,
But you're betting on yourself for a year in which you have no idea where
Right.
you're going to be
Well,
at.
and you don't have any way to prove it. I'm fine betting on myself always, but not if I'm like,
But-
hey, I can't talk for 6
but
months.
if you're going to try to sign that 1 year bet on yourself deal, the best case scenario is you go somewhere else. Yeah, maybe you make $12 million, but you have no spring training with your new teammates other than just being there and rehabbing. Then you're probably starting the year, maybe at some point heading down on a minor league rehab assignment for a few weeks, doing your own extended spring training, then a minor league stint, and then maybe sometime in May or June, you're finally joining a dynamic in a new city, at a new place that you haven't been. You took a couple of years to adjust to San Diego when you came over for Korea. It's probably a faster adjustment. I mean, it's the same country at least, but then you've got to perform, and you've got to perform well for the last 3.5 months to earn that contract that you wanted to get coming off this season. Because what happens if Ha-Seong Kim comes back and hits 240 with, 8 home runs and plays, decent defense? Is he going to be any better off than he was right now?
What do we owe him if he declines?
$2 million.
$2 million. Okay.
Even if he declines
If he declines
It's not if the Padres decline it. If he declines it, he gets to, hey, no, and give me my $2 million as I'm out the
Give me
door.
my $2
That's the
and-
very appealing part for Ha-Seong Kim to say no.
Yeah.
He just gets a $2 million check for declining the Padres option.
How do we get that in our contract?
That's a good deal. If you can get that,
$2 million.
the more you can get for not working is always a good deal.
Damn it.
But that's also a reason why the Padres would say yes, because while you'd be paying him $7 million, really only paying him $5 because that $2 million's is already
gone
spent
anyway.
money either way. So you throw in the extra $5 and you get to keep him for however long he's healthy. I think it's a no-brainer for the Padres to say yes. I don't know that Ha-Seong Kim is going to go along with that plan.
We'll know Monday.
Because if he signs for 2 and then signs for
12,
7 somewhere else, he's still getting 9.
Right.
It's still a better deal for him to say no because he's getting that money either way.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Now, he's not doing the thing where he's connecting anybody to certain teams, right?
He did not project like Jim Bowden did, where he said, hey, fits in these teams, and here's a contract projection. He simply ranked his free agents. Juan Soto 1, Willy Adames 2, Corbin Burns 3, Max Fried 4, Alex Bregman 5, and then he's a little lower on Roki Sasaki if he does come out from Japan. Has some issues with his arm injuries. The innings, he's only thrown like 129 innings is his maximum peak. That's not a full major league season, obviously. That happens with a lot of guys from Japan, though, and, they all react differently when they come over.
So I saw a guy, Lance Brodzowski, tweeted this morning, and Lance's credentials are he is a player development analyst at Watch Marquee, video editor, former video editor at Driveline. Seems to be a really smart guy. So he tweeted this morning. I got my hands on Roki Sasaki's 2024 NPB shape and velo data. Just dropped a video breaking it down. I will watch that over the weekend, certainly. I'm very interested in Roki Sasaki. His fastball velocity, his and shape regression this season. His insanely distinct splitter, slider rework needed, ? Arm injury affecting mechanics. And so they're talking about him. And I thought about it this morning. And, I saw some Dodger fans already in the comments of this video saying, why wouldn't you come to L.A. if you're Roki Sasaki? You've got Yamamoto. You just won a World Series.
Ohtani.
Ohtani. You plug and play. But as far as pitch, same staff. Yamamoto, know his work, familiar with him, familiar with Ohtani. Plug and play for him. Go out and try to win a World Series. If I'm Roki Sasaki and I'm banged up a little bit already, I'm not going to that team. That team has had 90% of their starting pitchers on the injured list, and it's not just this season thing. This is an epidemic in L.A. It's been an epidemic in L.A. Eno was talking about it yesterday on our program. They need to figure out in L.A. how to keep their pitchers developed and healthy. If I'm honestly it's an easier place to go in and probably, you're going to be in the playoffs, and if that's important to you, and I'm sure it is. But man, that's got to be a red flag for a pitcher.
I mean, it's also, they just won a World Series.
Right.
So you can't do anything other than just repeat what has already been done. I think there's always an appeal. Go somewhere, help them win.
It's funny you say that.
A World Series.
Because if you get the chance this weekend in between your various birthday celebrations, try to watch The Comeback on Netflix. They talked to Curt Schilling about this specifically because Schilling was like, I wanted to join the Yankees. Then I got pitched the Red Sox deal, and I wanted to be a part of reversing the curse. There is something in a competitor about
All right,
that.
as I get all my gifts here, all the things Ben likes, Paulie has a special edition, a birthday present. I actually received all of these things.
Every single thing.
This morning. I like those little Smarties rolls.
Got it.
I like those cashew buttered cashews. I like the radio. I like Squirt. I like Skippy.
I like San Diego State.
I mean, I like pie.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like cold, clear sake.
I like brown sugar. I like clocks. I like corn.
I like good, firm banana.
I like pepperoni. I like nuts.
I like Maps.
I do like Butterfinger.
I like vanilla. I like Tom Petty. I like when I get up, have a glass of cranberry juice cocktail. I like Chick-fil-A sauce. I like a mini donut too, just like the cream. I do like butterscotch. I do like a good Matt Damon film.
Legend of Bagger Vance.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday,
by the
buddy.
way, for
Love
the
you.
Dodger
Happy birthday,
fans in
Ben.
our chat who are on their way to downtown LA for the parade, quick note, they moved it to Santa Monica, so don't go downtown
tomorrow.
LA. It's in Santa Monica now. That's it for us. Annie and Elston are coming up next. For Paulie and Woods, I'm Ben. Have a great weekend from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.